With a dedicated connection and speeds up to 2 gigs, Fidium is winning over fans every day. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can experience the best internet in the game. Visit FidiumFiber.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
You're faced with a long shot in the heavy rough. Now what? Jessica Marksberry writes in Golf Magazine that while hybrids have made these shots a bit easier to deal with, lengthy shots from heavy rough are still a significant challenge. Top 100 teacher Tina Toombs says the first thing you need is loft and a specific mindset over the ball. You need to hold onto the club firmer with your left hand to prevent the club from grabbing the grass. You can elect to play in the back of your stance or play it forward. Now, playing it forward makes the swing a bit steeper so it can stay open more and the ball comes out of the rough better. She says a 7-wood makes it easier than a hybrid for longer shots. The ball comes out low, but rolls a long way because of topspin. And if all else fails, she says bailing out is an option too, and there's no shame in taking your medicine to avoid compounding your initial error. If you're really not sure, take your 9-iron and get it out. Don't risk topping it and leaving it in the rough. Good luck out there. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Drake.
Happy Leap Day. Thanks for being with us. Kyle Draper is not with us yet. Jay may know a little more than I do. I know Drape's nothing he could do. The team was kind of later than he expected, leaving Denver. So, Jay, is there a chance he's with us later today? Or are we just kind of waiting to hear when we hear from him?
Yeah, last time I spoke to him was probably about 15 minutes ago or so ago, and he is they just landed. So he's probably looking at about an hour, probably 3 o'clock for us.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's not dodging having to talk about the Kings after that.
No.
That's
I think he's excited to talk about the Kings, to be honest. So we'll see. According to him, they're landed. They are in Minneapolis, and he's on the team bus, and they're going to practice, straight to practice, and then they'll be dropped off at the hotel.
Okay, all right. So we should be hearing from Drapes. We'll just have to wait and see when.
Yes.
Jay, by the way, just help me fill in the blanks there. We were just talking on the crossover about Leap Day and the NBA head coaches who can still dunk, because we talked about this on our show last week, and I couldn't remember all of them. And Jay had most of them. Jamal Mosley, and let's see, Ime Udoka, Darvin Ham, Monty Williams are among the current coaches who can still dunk. And I'm not even sure now, as I look at the piece on ESPN, that may not be a complete list. There might be a few others.
Yeah, I thought Willie Green was a part of that last time we looked, because I thought you said it was 5. there was a handful of guys, and Willie Green was one of those 5.
Could you ever come close to dunking?
Yeah, I actually did.
Really?
And you know what's bananas is probably my 8th to 9th grade, which sounds crazy, was the best time I had. Then after that, I just really dedicated most of my time to baseball. So basketball stopped, becoming a number 2 sport for me at that time. But I almost got close my freshman year.
Really?
Yeah, I went for it. I was like, forget it. I'm about to dunk on this guy, man.
You mean like in a game?
Yeah, they were getting on my nerves, man. It was just one of them things where, a lot of folks was talking a little mess, and I said, forget it. I tried to go get it, man. My problem is I couldn't palm the ball. My hands aren't big enough. So I was one of those guys like I got a
2-hand.
Yeah, I have to throw it up. I'm like Spud Webb and all them, throw it up and let me go get it. You can't do that in the game. So didn't make sense, but don't get it twisted. I tried, Whitey.
Yeah, I never came close. There used to be, I forget where it was around here. There was like 9-foot baskets, and I'd go out.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And that was fun. And it's like, yeah,
go get it.
But the real, it just wasn't my game. Never came close.
You never had the adjustable rims like no one in the neighborhood? Okay.
Yeah. And then in our garage in Vallejo, the ceiling was that high. So the basket was really low. And I was like, yeah, throw it down. It was like, I don't know, 7 feet or whatever it was.
Now that's cheating, man. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, I know, but you couldn't put it any higher.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, it's time. But then there comes a time, or at least there did for me, when I realized, all right, that's just it's not my game. Do you have a favorite Kings dunker? And maybe not, but anybody?
That's a good question. Like in game or just all the way around? Or
yeah, Gerald Wallace gets mentioned a lot, and we were talking about Spud. Spud wasn't a king when he was in the dunk contest, but he was a hawk. Incredible dunker.
Let me think about that. Favorite Kings dunker.
There's not a lot of.
I guess you got to go Vince just based on
Yes.
who he is and what he's done, and I mean he was incredible at one point in time.
Yeah, by the time he got here, he was like me in high school. It was like, that just wasn't part of it.
Yeah, he's a shooter.
Yeah,
he developed to a long distance shooter. Actually too, man, I've had opportunity to have interactions with Vince on multiple occasions. I'm in Tahoe. I helped him out a few times, and Vince one of the nicest. It just popped in my mind. I want to make sure I get Vince is one of the nicest cats you would ever meet, to be in the stature that he's at. I've probably been around Vince like 10 times, and like I said, done some work with him and everything. Super nice, man.
You're not the first person who's told me that. I know Ryan Hollins, who was here. Yeah, I believe he was on the Kings with Vince Carter, and then also Memphis with Vince Carter. And he just like swears by him. He's like the greatest guy.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Super nice, man. Especially when, because of who he is. Like, I mean, it's Vince Carter, one of the greatest cats to ever walk on the, basketball NBA floor. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I have no doubt about that. I think he's going to be a first ballot guy this year. I mean, he is what some people have aspired to be. He's a goal for a lot of people who play basketball. And so, super nice cat, man. Like I said, I want to make sure we give him his flowers.
Yeah, I know we got a lot to get to with the Kings besides who the best dunkers are, but Malik is an incredible dunker. Malik Monk, there's every so often. The great thing about great dunks is that you don't necessarily expect them. You're watching the slam dunk contest. It's like, all right, wow me with another dunk. But sometimes Malik, catching a lob or something, it's like, whoa, because it catches you by surprise. Yeah. He's a tremendous dunker.
Yeah, but I'll spin it back to you. Who's your favorite Kings dunker?
Webb had some nice ones, but he wasn't like, I don't think you could hold him up as a great dunker.
Webb was a freight train.
Yeah.
He was there were
power
times,
dunker.
yeah, absolutely. Like he come through with that, that kind of what do we used to call that? The one-handed, it was the what do we call that dunk? I forgot what it is. I'm looking at Jordan versus Bird Nintendo game, and we used to call it something, which I can't think off.
Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty. There you go.
Okay.
Come on. There it was. Put your mind to it. And one thing about him though is once he got in the air, there was no stopping him.
Yeah. You
were either getting ran over or you were taking it.
Yeah. What's funny is Terry Tyler was did you remember Terry Tyler? He was here before I was here. Yeah. He was here before I was in Sacramento, but I know he was a King. I think he signed as a free agent, and then he was in the dunk contest. And Kenny Smith was in the dunk contest.
Yeah, for the Kings.
As a King. Yeah.
He wasn't for the King. Doug Christie was in the dunk contest at one point in time.
Get out of town.
Yeah, he tried to kick it over his head, And I've talked to Doug about this a few times. Like, man, why didn't you just go up there and pipe on some, pipe the rim? Where he was like, I was trying to be too creative. But yeah, he was in the dunk contest.
I think Gerald Wallace was in the dunk contest as a king, and I think Webb came out and was his.
That kind of sounds familiar.
Spotter or something, but he didn't do very well.
I kind of remember.
But he was a tremendous.
Yeah, he was. Power too. Another cat that was power. I saw Gerald Wallace. Oh man, I want to say in. I think he's got to be like 3 or 4 years older than me. I have to triple check that, but I want to say I saw him. And this is going way back AAU, like when Adidas was really running it at the time. He was in high school, and I think I was in junior high. And I was like, man, this dude's already got a pro body, This is when like the big time camp, Ebo camp in Las Vegas. I get it in, Whitey. Don't get twisted, man. I was athletically gifted.
I know you must have been.
But I just remember playing against him, and I was like, dude, this dude is a man already.
Otis Thorpe gets a mention.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, that was going way, way back. Yep. One of the original.
Thorpe.
I think one of the original Sacramento Kings. Remember Sean Kemp, his dunks?
Of course.
Kemp, who was not a king, I realized,
yes,
but
of course.
He was one of the unique blends of speed. He was really fast. And then just once he got the ball, if there was a way you could measure the velocity of a dunk, he'd be way up there because he'd have it and then look out below.
Yeah. He's got a lot of victims.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. And you're talking about power. And, the one thing about the Rain Man, Sean Kemp, he kick his legs out. And he
would just go up and dunk and come down. Yeah.
I mean, he would cock that thing back. It didn't matter if it was game or not. He was trying to double pump.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the, question, without looking at his numbers, let's just say for the culture, for things he's done. And I know, we don't put guys in the Hall of Fame for that. With the understanding, he didn't really go to college. There was a lot of JUCO situation with him. And, he was one of those guys that kind of technically came straight out of high school, so to say. Is Sean Kemp a Hall of Famer?
Well, I can't look at his numbers.
You can't look at his numbers. Just off the top of your head.
I would say no because he didn't do it long enough.
Okay.
But that's, again, I'd have to, that's something I'd want to check. But he was, at the height of his powers, he was so great. But then I don't know that he really had that sweet spot for very long, and they ended up going to the Cavs. See, that's the thing about LeBron. How could you – I'm asking the question. I'm not making a statement. How could we say LeBron's not the greatest player ever when he's closing in on 40,000 points? 20,000 points is a great career. He's like having 2 great careers. He was great at the peak of his powers, and he stayed there forever. He's still, almost – at the peak of his powers. And I think future generations, when they look at who's the greatest of all time, I think it's going to be easy. I think people are going to say, it's got to be that LeBron guy. Look, no one came close to doing what he did. Am I wrong?
Look, I can't argue you. I would say, and you're talking to a person who, and this is almost, we had this conversation last week or this past week. I can't even remember. I'm not a Jordan guy. I'm not a Jordan is all, he's the be all end all. Like, that's not my type of cup of tea. LeBron is there though. He is pretty much. If you don't say Jordan, I can understand some people could say Kareem depending on your era, but it's got to be LeBron. And the other thing I'm gonna say too, Whitey, that's gonna assist him more than anything, and I think this is what has assisted Michael Jordan, is the culture, is the shoe culture and the shoe game. And, he came around when commercials really blew up, like the golden era is what I like to call it. Jordan was definitely in the golden era of tennis shoes. And so I think that's lifted him up to another level. I think LeBron, the social media is going to push him to another level. And the fact that, he's got the movies now, and he's really intertwined himself into entertainment down in Los Angeles. And now, like with the Undisputed and all that. And then the fact that he is playing over, a couple generations.
That's the thing.
Now you're going to have kids like my daughter and people who are younger now still wanting to be LeBron. Like the one thing I say about Jordan, no one talks about Jordan that's, and it's funny because I don't know if you've seen this, like Paul George over the last year, it's kind of been a joke. And it hasn't been because a lot of these youngsters are saying like Paul George is one of their favorites or greatest. And it's just because of the era. It was Kiyan Anthony.
Brandon Miller or somebody.
Brandon Miller said that too. Kiyan and Carmelo's son. There was a run of 4 or 5, people who were in the news like, hey, I love Paul George. That's just my guy.
Yeah.
But I think that's where LeBron is he's going to be the one up coming soon. Is he's spanned it over 2 generations easy now.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to span to the next, situation, which is, it's going to be hard to beat 30 years of LeBron, man.
I know.
Very much so.
Jim Garfinkel, Jim Garfinkel says, how can you guys not even be mentioning the high flyer, Henry
Man,
Turner? That's a good point.
That's a good point.
Good point.
Yeah. But I didn't get to see HT. Like, again, HT was around when I was I was 4 years old, so I didn't get to see him.
Mm-hmm. You had to be at warm-ups because he didn't get played that much.
Sure.
He played some, and I'm sure at Fresno State he was throwing it down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Where'd he go? He didn't went to Fullerton, right?
I'll have to double check.
Yeah, I think it was to Fullerton.
We got to get that right.
Yeah.
He owes, we
pretty
owe
sure he's down that way. Irvine, Fullerton, something like that. Let's make sure we get HT his proper accreditation.
Yeah. The thing is,
he's a Fullerton. I thought he was.
Okay, I apologize.
Come on, man.
I
You
know.
got me over here second guessing myself over here, which I rarely do.
That was bad. I owe him a lot more respect than that. As nice as he is to us, and as much time as he dedicates to our shows, not even his show. So,
they say he could go get it though. Like I've seen a couple. Now I have seen a couple of different video packages of HT, especially overseas. He was the man over there.
Yeah,
like man.
Yeah, he grew up in Martinez. I didn't know that.
No, he's from the town. He probably was born that way.
Yeah.
Town.
Wiki says he grew up in Martinez. Says he's from Oakland.
No, he's from the town.
All right. The thing about LeBron is there was all that hype. A lot of the hype was created by Michael and everything Michael did. And then LeBron comes in. And look, I don't know if I've ever rooted for LeBron in my life, but I'm just looking at it objectively. He exceeded all of that, and he still exceeds the hype. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When he played his first game here, it's like, this is the chosen one. This is the next great player. Let's see what he's got. And he's like, okay. And he's way better than anybody dreamed he'd be.
Yeah,
better.
I agree. I think it's funny you say you never rooted for LeBron. One of the times I can definitely go back is when he played Boston and he single-handedly carried the Heat, 61, 63 points. I was rooting for him. I'm like, dude deserves a championship. Like, get him one, Yeah. I mean, it was the Heat, wasn't the Lakers, Cavs.
I might have rooted for him then because I never rooted for the Celtics either.
That too.
Yeah.
Me and you both.
When we come back, the Kings came up short last night. Should we be alarmed by anything that happened last night? Next, we'll be right back here. It's the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper getting settled in Minnesota. Drape should be joining us at some point. They got out of Denver a little later than he anticipated. So it's Whitey Gleason and Jay Johnson, JJ and Dub G here on Sactown Sports. We've just been talking about the greatest dunkers of all time on this Leap Day and the greatest Kings dunkers, and appreciate all the feedback here, all the participation. Someone mentioned the Ronnie Price dunk on Carlos Boozer. Oh, yeah. I mean, you had to
great
be there.
dunk. Was Ronnie a good dunker?
just in that moment he was.
Yeah.
And I happened to be sitting, our seats were kind of up from that baseline. And that's another one of those ones. It was so great because it was so unexpected. It's like, there's Ronnie Price and, did you see what he just did? So that was tremendous. So Drapes will probably have his edition of Drapes Takes today. Can I do one? Can you give me his music just a real quick?
Oh, you want his own squad?
Yeah, he won't like this, but he'll have his chance to do his own here.
Calm down, Lion. Calm down. Take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
Last night, the Kings go into Denver. They didn't have De'Aaron Fox. The Denver Nuggets were healthy for the first time this year when playing the Kings. Denver Nuggets are the world champions. Denver Nuggets throttled the Kings. Kings had really no realistic chance to win that game last night. So anybody that's getting carried away with, oh no, the sky is falling after last night, give me a break. It was the Denver Nuggets. The Kings were outclassed last night. That's my Drapes Takes for today. That's it. That's what happened. I mean, I know we're fans of the team, and you hate to admit defeat, especially when you had a 15-point lead. But, Jay, I don't know about you, but to me it's like, yeah, I mean, there's certainly things you can point to and say the Kings did this well, didn't do that well. But the Denver Nuggets they showed why they're world champions last night.
Yeah, and, I mean, who expected the Kings to sweep the Denver Nuggets 4 games in a row? 4 games this season, and we're talking about the world champs, and they were pretty much what we heard from Chris Marlowe yesterday, and you guys touched on, they were just about as close as healthy as they have been playing the Kings. KCP was back, Jamal Murray played, loss, you move on.
Yes.
Let's tighten up the belts.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those things, Whitey, where if you looked at the schedule in the beginning of the season, if you even started in September, once you got, put your X's and your W's on there, you would probably have put an X. You probably would have put a loss.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear from some people now calling us or texting us who say, oh, you're making excuses. There's an NBA reality here,
man.
And I think we've been pretty fair and balanced on the Kings, but let's face it, last night, that was not your night. And then when Fox isn't playing, good night. The surprise isn't that the Kings blew a 15-point lead. The surprise is that the Kings had a 15-point lead at any point in that game.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, I know a lot of Kings fans don't want to hear this, and I understand, in taking the next step and the next level, I think if you look at the schedule again, I think tomorrow you put a loss right next to the.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you don't expect to go into Denver, the world champs, after you've been beaten them 3 times this season. And you don't expect to go to Minneapolis once you've already beaten them at home and you broke a streak and, you stopped them. Like they're ready. I would imagine. And if they're not, then that's a problem. But we're talking about the number 1, number 2 teams here almost in the West. I think Denver's number 3 to be exact. But, yeah, I would almost expect another loss tomorrow.
You're probably right. I'm trying not to think that way because you look at the standings here, and, of course, it does start to get very dicey. By the way, last night there was a point in the game. The Kings were up, might have been like 49-44. There's about 5.5 minutes left in the half, and the Kings had been playing well. And Monk comes in, and the Nuggets run an action where they get Monk guarding Aaron Gordon, and he dunks it. And I thought, wow, that's not a good sign. That looks a lot like what the Heat did to the Kings. I'm wondering here if the Nuggets are onto something. The Nuggets they made their next 8 shots, including 2 threes. And then it was like, see you guys. Thanks for coming.
It's championship level basketball.
Yeah. And the Kings, meanwhile, their offense broke down. Their transition defense, they turned the ball over. Transition defense was bad. So that's not to make excuses, but that was an uphill climb last night. As far as tomorrow, here's the thing, Jay, as you know, in the West right now, the Kings, they're 8th. They're a game out of 5th. They're also, they're 2 games out of 9th and 2.5 out of 10th.
Right.
So anything's on the board here.
Absolutely.
Anything.
But this is the thing. We're living in the moment, and losing to the Nuggets is, tough loss. But I thought it was an expected loss, especially
I agree.
when your best player is not playing.
I agree.
And then again, if we go back and be honest with ourselves, if we look at the, September, October prior to the season starting, I think most people would have said this was a loss on the schedule. You go into Denver right before Minneapolis. I think you would want to try to probably go get the Timberwolves game, though. I don't think anybody expected the T-Wolves to be leading the Western Conference at this point. I think most people probably would have chosen, Denver or maybe OKC, Clippers, something like that. But these two games, and they're not back-to-back, but I call it back-to-back. They're not back-to-back physically day to day.
We gotcha. Consecutive games?
Yeah, consecutive games. I just thought going into these two games, it would be almost, and I said this before, and they got the win in Minnesota prior, but I thought these two games would be 2 losses, man. Like, I just think it's part of the schedule. The NBA didn't do them no favors. And, I don't know. I think De'Aaron's going to play tomorrow, but without De'Aaron yesterday, I was almost an uphill battle.
Yeah, obviously Kyle's not a doctor, but even yesterday on our show, he said, I think he's going to play. So I think that caught everybody by surprise a little bit, maybe even De'Aaron, because I know he was out there for warm-ups and decided, nope, can't go. We are hearing, as we did yesterday, as I know Alan and Chris did, we're hearing from some anti-Mike Brown people. It's understandable.
Sure.
But I just don't understand how right now, with everything going on with this team, people can focus on Mike Brown. He's not perfect, as he admits. I could have done this. I could have done that. Could have gone to zone sooner. But Mike Brown has a chance to take this team to the playoffs for consecutive years. Only one other coach has ever done that with Sacramento Kings.
Speak on it.
Only Adelman's the only one who's done that. So I know we talk about expectations a lot. To me, if anybody is looking at Mike Brown and going, he's holding this team back. Certainly you're right, and we respect it, and we enjoy the back and forth. But I think this team's not as good as you think it is if that's the way you're looking at it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but I second your opinion. And I think, we would be remiss if we didn't come to the table and all, really tell the truth in the fact that this team is flawed. There are a few things that this team could add. And, which is crazy. I saw today, a lot of people looking for more assistance and looking for help. And, it's like, it's February. It's March almost. March tomorrow.
Yeah.
They're not coming.
Right.
It's not coming, Whitey. And so we need to also start to batten down the hatches and realize that, this is probably minus, barring someone getting released. A couple players have been released and picked up this week. Someone else just got
buyouts.
A couple buyout situations. But I just think it's one of those things where if you thought this team was going Western Conference Finals or Finals, you probably were fooling yourself. And I think that's what you're saying. And look, we're trying to be nice and break it down to you and let you know, like, look, anything can happen. But I think going against the grain and really believing that you're fooling yourself.
Yeah, and that's fine. Part of being a fan is being delusional
Of
at
course.
times. But I just don't think the reason I even mention this because I don't think it's fair to Mike Brown. I do think it's interesting the last couple nights when you hear his post-game comments and there's a kind of a sameness to it. There's no sense that we've heard early in the year from him saying, hey, we better start doing this. It's more of a resigned sense of, boy, the ball wouldn't go in for us. And boy, they played great. And it's almost like he's recognizing, and I hope I'm wrong, Jay, dear listener, but it's almost like Mike Brown's recognizing, we're a little bit limited here the rest of the way. So we're just going to have to figure out a way to plod through this mess.
Yeah. I mean, Patty Mills was released today, right? So a lot of people are clamoring that Patty Mills is in the building. And so listen, when you're clamoring for Patty Mills, that lets you know, where you are when it comes to a talent situation. And the great thing about this is the Kings have enough talent to make a push, a decent run in the playoffs. And by all means, if they surprise us and get a little further than I think most of us believe or think they can do, I'm all for it. No one's, turning that down.
Yeah, they could still end up, I think I said, they're a game out of 5th.
Yeah.
If they're 5th or 6th, that in and of itself, to me, that would be an accomplishment. And then if you're 7th or 8th and you get out of that, that's fine. Just, 9th or 10th, that's why all of a sudden I've got a new level of trepidation, because if you're 9th or 10th and they're still out of that, they're above that. If you're 9th or 10th, you got to win 2 to get out of the play-in. And you got to win 2 games, and then you get your your reward for that is playing the 1 seed.
Right.
Which still, depending on who it is, that could work out. So that's where I start. The playing all along, I think we've said it's probably a playing team, maybe not, but probably.
Mm-hmm.
But then 7, 8, 7, and you start looking at 9 or 10, and they're not there yet. But that's when to me, it would get really dicey if we get to that point.
Yeah, I think they're in the block of the 5, 6, 7, 8. I think they're right there of, just what you pointed to, a game and a half out, fifth spot, 2.5 out from being, in that 10th spot. I don't think they're a 9, 10, but I see them 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think it's going to flip-flop all the way down to the end of the season. And I think we're going to have a little excitement here in Whitey coming down to the end of middle of April, brother. I think it's coming.
Yeah, we were just talking about your guy LeBron.
Yes.
Last night he had, 19 in the fourth quarter, and they came from
amazing.
21 down. So they're 9th now, and the Lakers are 32 and 28, and they're 2 games behind the Kings. And they're coming hard, and they play – is it March 6th? Now, hopefully, almost certainly LeBron will reach 40,000 points before he plays the Kings. I'd hate to see it happen against the Kings, but he's close enough now. He should get there before that. But, I know Kyle has said also he's not concerned about the Warriors, and which I totally understand. I understand where he's coming from.
But he's also said this, he's also said he doesn't want to play them in a 1 game scenario either, though.
They got the Knicks tonight. The Knicks aren't playing well, and if the Warriors win, they're climbing up your tree a little bit. So it's just a little uncomfortable. It's great to be in a situation again where the games matter and you have things to worry about, like where are they going to be in the playoff picture or the even the play-in. It's great to have those worries, but right now I think they are real concerns. When we come back, the NBA wants to tilt the game back towards the defense a little bit. All right, well, how would you do that? What do you got? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Drive Guys, Jay and Whitey, Sactown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike to the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Hagen Oaks is introducing the hot new Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke line of drivers, fairways, hybrids, and iron sets that are sweeter from every spot. AI Smoke is designed with thousands of real player data and a revolutionary new AI Smart Face for sweet spots across the entire face. Ask about the full line of Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke woods and irons and find your sweet spot at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
1 ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event. The Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at 2hugeshows.com.
Hey, Sacramento, guess what? It's an extra special year, a leap year, and we're making every second count at Elk Grove Kia. Get Get ready to leap into savings like never before. February might be the shortest month, but our deals are anything but short on value. We're slashing used car prices so you can take home your dream Kia today. And speaking of dreams, leap into this deal with the Kia Forte for just $19,988. It's sleek, it's stylish, and it's waiting for you to drive it home. But wait, there's more. Lease the stunning Kia Seltos for only $199 per month. Yes, you heard it right. A brand new SUV for just $199 per month with approved credit and a down payment of $3,595 plus taxes and fees. This deal is too good not to take the leap. Drive away in style with the Kia Seltos. But hurry, our inventory is limited and these deals won't last forever. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia, conveniently located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com and leap into savings today. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
I just can't control my feet.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th. World One presents The Jacksons with Sister Sledge. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and World1Presents.com. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper getting settled in Minnesota, where the Kings take on the T-Wolves tomorrow. So for the time being, it's Jay and Whitey. And I got to say this about Jay. Jay has been dying the last couple of days to talk about the grades that NFL players gave their franchises. So I think we'll probably be able to get to that today. We just had so much King stuff, but I know that's a topic that really has piqued your interest. Jay.
Yes, it is close. I won't say close to my heart, but it's very interesting, man. It's some of these grades and overviews. It's almost like, what?
Yeah, I think there's at least
five
teams got like an F- from the players for various things,
various different reasons. And, the Bengals, I think they're sitting on a D overall. Yeah, overall. Like they're not being treated very well at all. Yeah, the Chiefs didn't have a good, grading minus, Coach Reed. Beyond that, a lot of the things that they were graded on were D's and F's.
Ownership did not do well. Players there don't like the ownership there in Kansas City.
Mr.
That
Hunt
surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking, what good do these surveys do, really? But then the more you look into it, I guess last year, for example, Jacksonville, the players let it be known that in the team facility, they had like rats everywhere.
What?
So that becomes publicized, and now guess what? No more rats.
No more infestation.
And Jacksonville's got higher grades
as they
from
should.
The players. So yeah, there's some real benefit to having it. 49ers did well.
Oh yeah, they did very well. The two which jumped right off the page, and I sent it to you guys. Training staff, training room, which is something I've been crying and hollering and screaming the last 4, 5, 6 years. This team, they can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look at the training staff, the doctors, the nurse practitioners, everybody that's inside the building, man. They all should be reevaluated and probably do it twice.
Let me ask you real quick, because this is something people are kicking around. I think it's pretty silly. Zach Wilson has been granted.
Stop it. I'm not.
Zach Wilson has been granted permission to request a trade. If you're the 49ers, do you even kick the tires? Do you have any interest in Zach Wilson as a backup?
Barring the fact that if I would like to go quiet, but because this is radio and it's against the grain that I can't go quiet, I have to answer. But if we were outside of this or during the break, I wouldn't even respond to you. No.
There's some odds that have them third most likely to get him. The only way it would make any sense is if Shanahan, there's reason to believe they were really interested in him when he came out of BYU. If Shanahan still looks at him and says, that kid hasn't been coached right, I can fix him. Maybe you would say, look, if no one else wants you, we'll make you our third quarterback and then we'll, rehab your career. But other than that, they love Brock and, they like Logan Allen. They like him too.
Let me tell you something. More now than ever, this offseason, or not ever, but let's just say the last 6-7 years or whatever, the one thing you're not going to hear this offseason, finally, the 49ers quarterback situation. Stability has already been placed in the region of Santa Clara. We don't have to talk about that no more.
Right.
Now we're having conversations. Is this guy a perennial all-pro player? Is this guy a top 5 guy? Is this guy a top 10 guy? Is this someone you can win a Super Bowl with? Gone are the questions now of can this guy be the guy that starts and leads a team? Like, those questions are done. It's stability in San Francisco or Santa Clara, whatever you want to call it. But for the 49ers at this point, we don't have to have those conversations anymore about quarterback. Can this quarterback do this? And is he going to miss this play? Like, that's done.
Yeah. Isn't that refreshing?
The narrative is done. Yeah.
By the way, it's Brandon Allen. I apologize. I called him Logan Allen.
We know where you're going.
Played for the Braves, but yeah, that's the only way I could see they would have any interest. But you're right. Year after year after year after year after year. What is it? I think the last 6 years or so, Tim Kawakami wrote about this. The 49ers have had honest-to-goodness quarterback intrigue in the offseason. And now maybe, they need a third quarterback. That's about the extent of it.
Right. Who cares about that?
Right.
If you got to get down to your third QB, you're in trouble anyway. But I think, as I've said, we don't have to go into this offseason with the quarterback question, just like Tim Kawakami of The Athletic is saying, and you just said it very much is refreshing. It is great to have to talk about the quarterback position for the 49ers.
Kyle Shanahan might finally have figured it out. Isn't that incredible?
What part? What part?
Got a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
The quarterback whisperer. It took him 7 years to find a quarterback.
I know. I hear you.
I also think, as far as a third quarterback, like you say, most teams are like, whatever. I think losing that NFC Championship game to Kyle Draper's team when they had no quarterbacks left, I think that left a mark on him and John Lynch. I think as long as they're involved with teams, 49ers, wherever they go, they're always going to make sure they got a plan B, C, D, E, and F at quarterback.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, because of past history and things that you've been.
He still wakes up in the middle of the night. Josh Johnson's in. No. With a trip to the Super Bowl in the line.
I know, man. Oof.
And then Josh Johnson got hurt. Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. It is a great position to finally be in for the 49ers. And I think we all know, like, Brandon Ayuk is going to be the top, storyline this offseason. And it's just great that we don't have to talk about quarterback no more. Again, beside the fact of, can this guy win a Super Bowl? Like, can this guy, take this team? And I think, his play in the Super Bowl wasn't absolutely fantastically, like, he didn't have a great game, but he didn't have a bad game. And so I think when you really sit back and look at it, he's going to have the question, well, can he win a Super Bowl? But in your mind, it's like he was right there. He was a few minutes away from winning a Super Bowl. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, yeah, we know he can take this team to a Super Bowl and win one. It just didn't fall his way this past time.
Even when they lost to the Chiefs the first time, there were some questions about Jimmy G, right?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Emmanuel Sanders, if he made that throw, blah, blah, blah. And none of that really.
Because the way the game played out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, remember, as much as, Pat Mahomes got the job done, he was dueling with Brock Purdy. And of course, he done play each other, but it wasn't like Purdy didn't go down and score. Like, and we all go back to the play where he's wide open and pressure was there. Jawan Jennings was open in the corner. It just didn't happen. But you can't tell me if he didn't have an extra a half of a second, he would have hit Jawan Jennings. And so I don't think those questions are being, we're not rising those questions to the table no more, because he did score on the last couple of drives when he needed to. He did put some points up on the board. And he, despite the fact that Pat Mahomes came through and did what he had to, he was right there.
Yeah.
It was all right there for Brock Purdy. He didn't give up the long drive like the defense did. He did his thing too.
Yeah, it took a guy falling from the sky in his lap almost literally, but Kyle Shanahan finally has figured out, we think, the quarterback situation. When we come back, yes, the NBA wanting to tilt the game back towards the defense. How in the world would you do that without ruining everything? Next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
I haven't been this excited about a deal in a long time. Right now, you can save $18,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Jeep Gladiator EcoDiesels. This thing can get up to 28 miles per gallon on the highway, and it's the perfect combination of off-road fun and work truck. Plus, it's the #1 new quality vehicle among mid-sized trucks, according to J.D. Power.
And you're selling them with an $18,000 discount? That seems a little crazy.
Well, we do things a little different here at Hoblet. We're here to help you find the vehicle you need at the best possible price. That's why we don't have a bunch of dealer markups, surprise add-ons, or fees. At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings and selection.
There's no better time to take advantage of this savings at Hoblet. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings, selection, and no surprise hidden fees.
18,000 net savings after 11,096 factory rebates and 6904 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. Qualify 5 with this net savings. Symbol VIN 553-385. See dealer for details.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
When the Kings lose and lose and lose, but as we've been saying here, Drive Guys today, Whitey and Jay, I really don't think you can be too surprised that things went sideways on the Kings last night. Is that making excuses? No! It's being realistic about the team that they faced last night. Of course, at some point, you got to win games if you want to stay out of the play-in, stay out of the last 2 spots in the play-in, and they got another tough one tomorrow night. And I'm not ready to go where Jay's going yet. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Jay. I'm just not ready to go to the place where you are, which is, if I understand you right, you're in the place where you're thinking, Minnesota game, that's another one that it's going to be really, really, really tough to win, and you're probably not going to come out on top of that.
Yeah, I don't expect the boys to go there. And, as much as we thought De'Aaron, our lead guy here in Sacramento, was going to be playing and on the floor last night, he didn't. You just never know what carries over till tomorrow. But I don't expect the Kings to go into Minnesota and get the win. And with that being said, once. Yeah, they have. And, hey, look, they can do it again. But to take a step back, Whitey, if you would have told me that the Kings would go 3-1 against the champs of the NBA, man, last night is just ho-hum. You just shrug your shoulders and move on.
When we really should have known that last night was a tall order, if we didn't already, was when we had the G-Man on.
Yeah.
When Kyle asked the G-Man about it, hey, are you optimistic? And what did he say? He said, better lace up your sneakers real tight. Remember? He knows.
And the G-Man saw so much basketball.
Yeah, and he knows what side of his bread the butter's on and all that. So, but lace them up tight tonight. And absolutely, that's what happened with a tough loss for the Kings.
So, okay, real quick, Whitey.
117-96.
Give me percentage-wise. What are you thinking about the Kings heading to Minnesota tomorrow? Like, give me a percentage of where you think they have the opportunity to get the W, the victory.
40. That's
okay. 60-40 on the back end. Okay.
On the road.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm leaving room for the fact that many, many times this year, both ways, good and bad, the Kings have done things that as I'm watching them, I just had no idea they were capable of doing. Good and bad. That's the way they've been all year.
Sure. I mean,
that Clipper game, that was just a couple games ago. That was incredible.
Yeah. Yes. I think, and you make a great point, and this is something we've talked about all week here on the Drive, guys, is the roller coaster ride this team is, the up and down, the side to side, the left, right. It's just so many different elements that this team, so many different ways, directions this team has played in this season, and definitely as of late. But I just, look, they've lost 2 in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So be a 3-game losing streak. Then I would say post that is where I would begin to have some issues.
Yeah. In March, they have a lot of home games, as everyone knows.
Yep.
Starting with Monday against the Bulls, so they have a chance to pad the record a little bit at home down the stretch, which should come in very handy. On the chat here, Compio, we're talking about LeBron. I disagree. I could not disagree with this more. Compio says LeBron's first point was against the Kings. His 40,000th should also be against the Kings! Exclamation. I don't want to see that. Do you?
No.
You want to see him do that against the Kings where they stop the game and everything? No. And LeBron.
I'm good. No, please don't. No, I'm fine with that. The one thing that is so funny, man, is this city hinges upon the fact that LeBron played his first game here. Like it's
kind of cool.
Yeah, but I mean,
does the city hinge on it?
Yes. Every single time LeBron, it's like the Tyrese Halliburton thing, right? Over the last couple years, I know you had to be tired of just hearing about Tyrese talk about being traded from Sacramento and all this other stuff. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of hearing about LeBron's first game being in Sacramento. Like, yeah, okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Whoop-de-doo. What does it mean? Yeah, 20, 21 points? Move on. Means nothing.
Yeah. You want to hear the worst thing ever about that game, LeBron's first game?
What you got?
We had tickets. We had season tickets, but I was doing the mornings. I didn't go because I had to get up early.
Now, that's a story I want to hear. That's what I want to hear about.
I had to get up really early.
I mean, now that is the problem right there. See, that's a conversation to have.
That's really bad.
Beyond the fact that, he played his first game and, he did this and did well and we knew he was going to be a star and all this good stuff. Okay. It's like we wear that as a badge of honor in Sacramento that LeBron played here first.
Yeah.
That was the NBA's doing.
Yeah.
That wasn't our doing.
My wife went, my 2 daughters, so they got to see it. And then, we still have the tickets and all that. But yeah, sometimes I tell people that and they look at me like, you're not serious, right? You went to the game. Like, no, I had to get up early.
Let me say this, White. Let me ask you this. Because you're this type of guy, do you still have the stubs from that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that a boy.
Yeah.
I figured you might.
Stubs and the programs and the pins that they gave out that
Look
night.
at you.
Yeah.
See, I knew you wasn't half stepping. You wasn't slipping too much.
I think we got the newspaper too. And some of those, depending on the condition of the tickets.
Yes.
I'm glad I kept them.
That a boy. I mean, do I see dollar signs in your eye from this? Okay, yeah. I'm just saying.
Yes.
You'll release them if need be.
I know there's a lot of people in the area. I don't know how many, but a handful who knew what they were doing and kept those tickets because you see them on eBay. Sure. And you get a pretty good piece for those.
Now, do you wait until he retires, or do you wait till the Hall of Fame? Because those are the type of things you got to kind of fit right in the, like the sweet spot.
It's a good question. For some reason, she says, nope, we're saving those till he retires.
Okay.
And she says it in such a way that you're married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when the wife says something, you're like,
okay, yeah.
And it's one of those things.
It means something today.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's the best tact, but I realize, all right, that is the law right now. And so I'm going to abide by it.
But you got 40,000 coming up now.
But the thing is, I know. That's right. I'm going to have to tell her.
Yeah, you got to rethink it.
40,000. And we got 3 of those tickets.
Maybe 1.
We got 3.
Yeah, because 3 is, listen, you can still sell a pair as a pair compared to the third is the odd man out.
Yeah.
All right, I don't mean to start nothing in the Gleason household.
No. It's a good problem to have, believe me. It's a good problem to have. Do you have any ideas quickly here? And maybe you don't, but we know that Kyle talked about this yesterday. According to ESPN, the NBA has made it clear that the competition committee is reviewing whether the game is tilted too far towards offense and whether changes need to be implemented to achieve better balance. So the league is at least looking at the way offenses right now are going through the roof, scoring through the roof, and they're thinking of ways maybe they can swing the game back the other way. Does anything come to mind?
As far as like play, you mean?
Anything, any kind of rules or anything the league could do. A lot of people that played in the, back when it was more physical, are just saying
hand check.
Yeah,
hand checking.
Bring back the hand check.
I was gonna say maybe the hand check would probably be the one of them too. The other thing for me is this is kind of the way the game is played, the style it's played now is like the ticky-tack soft stuff. I think that too. The other one for me is, and it's a fine line because there are a lot of players who say too much to the officials. But then at the same time, I've also started to hear too now where, you kind of hear the talk of like, keep it clean, gentlemen, or don't say nothing. Like you can't speak to your, opponent. Like, nah. So I think, the technicals kind of make it more difficult for a defensive player sometime, and what you might be able to do, because it makes you think about it sometimes. It's like, I might do this, or, I might make this play, but I don't want to get a tech and hurt something. So, but for me, I think it's the hand checking, man. Like, let it be a little more physical. Let's see,
that's probably the top of everybody's list. Whether they'll do it or not, I don't know, but tinker with the rules and roll back on hand checking. Allow more of that.
This is something, and this is a conversation that we can have, and it might not be now. Maybe it's in the off season. What's a lost start? And this is something I like to throw out there. 916-339-1140. Handles. Like, we don't talk about a lot of guys who got dope handles anymore.
I think
who can dribble the ball anymore.
Yeah, because now more and more teams are, like the Warrior style and the King style. We don't want you to dribble it. Give it up. Give it up.
I understand that.
Yeah,
but
I understand your side too.
There's still some people who we need you to break, and we see it quite a bit. So who are we to say we don't want it? Because De'Aaron is the type of guy, he breaks down the defense quite a bit here for Sacramento, right? And so, and he does it off his quickness, his speed a lot of times. But I think handling, man, dribbling the basketball is something of a lost art. You don't see it. And I'll even say this, Whitey, you have opportunity to be there game day. Of course, I've had opportunities. We've been around basketball enough professionally. You don't see that many teams anymore come in pregame and work on dribbling skills anymore. Like it used to be even 5-6 years ago, you would see it. And I'd be down there and watching them, and guys are working on the left, and even some of the big men, but you don't see it as much anymore.
Shooting.
Yes. They come right out, and they're straight from the top of the key. It's like you ain't even shot a layup yet. Like this is your first drill.
What do you think of this? Here's another possible solution. Some are suggesting that I don't quite understand this, but I'm just passing along. Some are saying, hey, shorter season, fewer games is going to mean that guys will have more energy to play better defense, and the product overall will be improved. Offense and defense will be improved, and that will swing the game back into greater balance. I understand all the talk about why people want to have the season shorter. There's no freaking way anybody's going to agree to have fewer dates, which is going to mean less money.
No way.
Players won't agree to it. The owners won't agree to it. So I don't think we should waste anybody's time by even talking about it.
Yeah, that idea went out the window years ago. And I thought the pandemic year was the perfect way to kind of, showcase that and implement that. But now you have the IST. You got the in-season tournament, and the commissioner out of Silver is hell-bent on making sure this stays around at least for the foreseeable future. And, I think the one thing about it is we talk about dollar signs. When you're talking about bonuses and extra money for players like the in-season tournament and more awards and all that, and now you have to play 65 games to even be considered in talk. No, that's not going away. That's definitely not going away.
By the way, you mentioned the commissioner. Reminded me, I heard today, Rasheed Wallace has been saying, the reason the NBA curbed hand checking is because his Pistons were so physical. And he says, Commissioner Stern couldn't stand that we beat the Lakers in 2004. And he says, he feels, some of his teammates feel, the NBA made sure we didn't beat the Spurs in 2005. They didn't like the way we played, and they changed the rules because of us, because the commissioner didn't like us.
That's part of it, though. Listen, who am I to sit up here and say that may not have played a part in it? One thing, I'm not a conspiracy theorist believer, but I do think, unlike a lot of NBA fans and NFL fans, man, things are tinkered with. You can't believe that we're human beings. We're not perfect.
Makes you a Kings fan. That's all that makes you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Someone who believes that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what happened then.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. Do the Kings really deserve a midseason grade lower than 12 of the 14 other West teams? We'll look at that when we come right back. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
It's a toss to McCaffrey, a cutback run 30, breaks 340. McCaffrey midfield. McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasted all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Honeylicious taste, so a cold won't slow you down.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599 That's 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Yeah, the Kings get ready to take on Minnesota tomorrow, and they're all settled, which means Kyle Draper.
Whitey.
Yeah,
Whitey.
Kyle Draper ready to go. Yes. Hello, Kyle Draper. Yeah.
This is the Drapes takeover. Can you hear me? This is the Drapes takeover right now. I'm taking the show over. The first hour, it was okay. It was solid. But now it's time to raise the bar. Let's get into Drapes takes. Let's get into Drapes takes, Jay. Right off.
Calm down. Take
you know
it
what?
easy, man. Just take it easy.
Takeover's not going that well so
your boy
far.
is back. So excited to be on the show, fellas. Let me start with last night's game. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? 7, 8,
Yes.
9. Can you hear me? 8, 9, 10. How
Maybe
much
he
do you
can't
want me to
hear us
count here,
back.
Whitey? All right, let's start with Drapes State. I want to start with last night's game, man. And I know Kings fans are upset. I see you guys on social media. You're fired up. You're angry. What did you expect last night when you're without your best player? When you're facing an angry Denver Nuggets team, when you're facing a Denver Nuggets team that was looking to send a message. That was written. It was written, like Nas would say on his album. It was written. That game was written to be played like that. I was impressed by the Kings that they were up, through the first 20 minutes of the game. Like they came out. But, it would be hard to sustain. Let me tell you something, Whitey. You know why this game meant more to the Denver Nuggets? Proof. Obviously, they were upset. They got their butts kicked 3 times by the Kings. But Jamal Murray in the fourth quarter still playing. Like Michael Malone wanted to send a message. The Nuggets wanted to send a message last night. And so I'm not upset about the loss. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk or anything like that or jump off a cliff or anything like that. Sure, it was a tough loss. Would you have liked to see the guys play better? But I'm not going to get too upset about last night, Whitey.
No, I'm with you. I actually did my own version of your takes earlier, and that was basically it was one take, which is if you thought the Kings had a chance to win that game, you're delusional. So yes, I'm with you 100%.
So hold on, let me get you did a Drapes take without Drapes.
I certainly did.
What I hear?
That's exactly what I did. Yeah,
I see. Well, we doing it. I'm surprised Jay let you get away with that. To be honest, I thought Jay was my boy. He let you.
Might have
get
been
away
his
with that,
idea.
All right, okay. My second Drapes take. Can we? It was his. It probably was. Can we get to my guy Chris Duarte? Chris Duarte, I think, has firmly cemented himself in this rotation. And I'm not talking about the 18 points last night, Whitey. While that was encouraging, 4 of 8 from 3, this guy gives maximum effort every time he steps on the floor. This guy lays it on the line every time he steps on the floor. And if his shot starts falling like we saw last night, I think Chris Duarte, still with 24 games to go, can prove his value, his worth to the Sacramento Kings team.
I'm with you because no one else is coming. You're not going to bring in any fresh faces. He's a guy that has been underperforming. He's still there. Maybe he can essentially be almost like a new addition for you if he starts playing better and stays healthy.
Yeah, sort of like found money, right? Like it's, you're in the couch cushions looking.
Or like a found
like,
wallet,
I didn't know this quarter was in here. That's what Chris Duarte can be for this.
Yeah.
No, that has not happened. Yeah, I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking for the wallet. I'm upset about that. Let me get to my last Drapes takes here, because I'm hearing a lot of people talking about Keegan Murray and how come they go away from Keegan Murray and, how come this guy doesn't get more shots and everything like that. The same Keegan Murray that we saw in the first half, we could have saw in the second half. Don't tell me that they went out there and ran stuff for Keegan Murray and did something special for him, and then they went away from it in the second half. You know as well as I do, Whitey, the Kings' offense is equal opportunity. And so it is on Keegan. He had 15 points in that first half, took 12 shots in that first half. The rest of the game, he only took 5 shots. That's not on Mike Brown. That's on Keegan Murray. He came out and looked aggressive right from the jump, especially without De'Aaron Fox. We need that Keegan Murray out there.
Yeah, that's true. With the whole Kings offense, too often last night, for whatever reason, they were totally out of whack. And obviously, no De'Aaron Fox had an awful lot to do with that. But they should be able to do a better job of keeping things on track, whether De'Aaron Fox is in there or not. Kyle Draper is with us from Minneapolis. I think we're having some
you're right. I mean,
audio issues. Okay, yeah. I think we got a delay or something going, Kyle. So sorry about that.
Just a little delay on this. Yeah. Let me reset up, Whitey, and come back, okay? Because there is a little bit of a delay right here. I'm on this hotel Wi-Fi, and I'm not in the La Quinta Inn or the Motel 6 or anything like that. This is a high-quality hotel I'm staying in, but this internet seems to be a little off. I'm going to go get a cord, and we're going to plug in. I think I should be able to plug in and get that set up. But if it's okay with you, man, we can continue like this at the hotel and the front desk and the break and get them to bring me up a cord.
All right, yeah, let's do that. Thank you. And thanks for fitting us in today, Kyle Draper from Minneapolis. And again, they just flew into Minneapolis today, and my understanding is they got out of Denver a little later than they were planning to. So, but that's what happens when, Drapes comes in and says he's taking over the show, and then you see, you just can't bite off more than you can chew sometimes, but we're a team, and we will we will hold it together.
You know what? I will go behind the curtain just a little bit, because we were scheduled to leave the hotel at 11 o'clock this morning out there in Denver time. We were scheduled to leave at 11. The team had film at 10:30. The film or whatever meeting they had lasted till about 12 o'clock. It went like an hour over. It went so long, in fact, we were supposed to land in Minneapolis and the team was supposed to go right to practice. They called off practice because the gym wouldn't be available for extra time. And so I'm not sure. I got to get to the bottom of this. I got to get to, was the film session that long? Was it a team meeting? Like, what happened? Because I was on the bus waiting for the guys for a good 45, 50 minutes.
That's really interesting. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things that could be at work there. Yeah, let's take a real quick time out. And then, Drapes, you get yourself situated as quickly as you can, and we'll be ready for you whenever you're ready. When we come back, we'll look at mid-season report card for the Kings that has them with a lower grade than 12 of the 14 other West teams. What is that about? We'll find out as we roll on the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus, view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Hey, Sacramento, guess what? It's an extra special year, a leap year, and we're making every second count at Elk Grove Kia. Get ready to leap into savings like never before. February might be the shortest month, but our deals are anything but short on value. We're slashing used car prices so you can take home your dream Kia today. And speaking of dreams, leap into this deal with the Kia Forte for just $19,988. It's sleek, it's stylish, and it's waiting for you to drive it home. But wait, there's more. Lease the stunning Kia Seltos for only $199 per month. Yes, you heard it right. A brand new SUV for just $199 per month with approved credit and a down payment of $3,595 plus taxes and fees. This deal is too good not to take the leap. Drive away in style with the Kia Seltos. But hurry, our inventory is limited and these deals won't last forever. Visit us at Elk Grove Kia, conveniently located in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, or check us out online at elkgrovekia.com and leap into savings today. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Well, what do you make of the Kings' defeat last night in Denver? 117-96. Kyle Draper's in Minneapolis. He's getting situated. We heard from Kyle a little bit ago. He's got some audio issues. We'll get those squared away as quickly as we can. Get him right back on the air. We did hear an edition of Drape's Takes, and earlier in the show, I did my own version of Drape's Takes. We ended up saying the same thing, which basically was the biggest surprise in that game wasn't that the Kings lost, it's that they had a 15-point lead to begin with. And that's not to make excuses. It's not about making excuses for the Kings. But they played the world champions last night. They played in Denver. Kings without De'Aaron Fox. A Denver team that, well, the Kings had their full attention. And Denver was healthy for the first time this year when they played the Kings. So, yeah, the Kings got off to that great start. Maybe you could say, wow, once that game slipped away from the Kings, they didn't give up much of a fight. I'll give you that. But otherwise, that was a tall order last night. As we said earlier, Jay and I were talking about the situation. Yesterday, the G-Man came on with Kyle from the arena, and we asked G-Man about the game. Hey, you feeling optimistic? And the G-Man said, well, Kings got to lace up the sneakers extra tight tonight. So he had an idea what was coming. That said, now tomorrow's another challenging game against the top seed in the West. Minnesota Timberwolves at Minnesota. That's another tough one. It's just at this point, the way the West continues to shape up and the teams below the Kings continue to creep up, you just got to start winning some games. It'd be nice to get one tomorrow. Obviously, you got a lot of home games in March. At some point, the Kings have to find some level of consistency. The Kings want to be playing like everyone does this time of year. You want to be playing your best basketball as the playoffs approach. And you've got some teams in the West that are doing that. The Kings looked like, with the win right before the break at Denver, and then with the win coming out of the break against the Clippers, looked like, okay, look at this. Maybe they're getting ready to go on a run. Then you come home, the tough loss to Miami, the loss last night. Kings are still looking for answers, which is far from ideal, but there you are. That's where they are. I know a lot of people have been very anxious and upset about Mike Brown. We're hearing a lot. We've heard a lot. I know Alan and Chris heard a lot today about Mike Brown. It's Mike Brown's fault. Mike Brown's got to do this. Mike Brown's got to do that. And as I said earlier, certainly respect your opinions and enjoy discussing things with you, whether it's on the air or on the text line, or on the chat. Mike Brown, in my opinion, he's still a real asset for this team. I don't think this roster is currently constituted as capable of playing the type of defense Mike Brown wants them to play. They have improved defensively in terms of defensive rating, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. But I think the notion that he somehow is part of the problem, I understand that when you're a fan and you look for people to blame and reasons why things are going sideways, you look at the manager or the coach. I just think in this case, I don't think it truly applies. But how about the Kings, what they did at the deadline or what they didn't do at the deadline? The Ringer today has, actually, it's a couple days ago, they posted this. They have report cards. It's kind of like a mid-season, a little later than a mid-season report card for all the NBA teams. And they give the Kings a C. Interestingly, you got 14 other teams in the West. 12 of the other teams in the West get a better grade from the Ringer for what that's worth than the Kings do. I think Portland and the Lakers are the only teams that, according to the Ringer, deserve a lower mid-season grade than the Kings. The Lakers are a C- and Portland's I think a D+. And here's what the Ringer has to say about the Kings. Kings still lead the NBA in handoff frequency, but they scored a bottom 10 rate on them compared to a top 10 rate last season. And the rest of the NBA has caught a heater, flattening out the Kings' once pronounced scoring advantage. The really interesting thing about that is I know I have been one of the people banging the drum every game about the defense isn't good enough. The defense isn't good enough. The defense isn't good enough. And I believe that. And I think Mike Brown knows that. And I think the team knows that. But the offense has dropped off dramatically from last year. So going forward, is it realistic to think that the Kings can improve dramatically between now and the end of the year defensively? I mean, really become a much better defensive team? It's possible, but to me, it's not realistic. So how about at the other end? Can the Kings become a much better offensive team? I don't know, but it's much more realistic to think that based on what we saw them do last year. And when you see numbers like that, and when you look at the free throw shooting, Mike Brown has said, if we were an average free throw shooting team, our offensive rating would be much better. So I've been with Mike Brown, who's been preaching. We're in for a rude awakening if we think that we can just get into the playoffs and succeed there with our offense. But I don't know what else they do. The opportunity to upgrade defensively might have been there at the deadline. We don't know. We don't know for sure what actually was available to the front office. We know that they tried to make a move. We know that they tried to get Pascal Siakam, who would have addressed offensive needs and defensive needs. They didn't get him. And for whatever reason, whatever the other options were, they didn't feel they were worth pursuing. So now you've got basically the same roster. You're running it back after deciding in the offseason to basically run it back. To me, the only thing that makes any sense really is you keep working at the defensive end, but the offense has got to get better. It's got to get somewhere closer to what it was last year if you're going to have a chance of having any success in the postseason. I think it's pretty clear, too, that right now the Kings are a play-in team. Sure, if you look at the standings, they're only, they're a game out of fifth, but you've got the Warriors and the Lakers behind them, and you can hear those, I was going to say little footsteps, but obviously some of those guys like LeBron, bigger footsteps. They're coming. Kyle has been saying all along that he doesn't really think the Warriors have what it takes this year to work their way in to the top of the West. But right now, they're very close. I think they're 2.5 behind the Kings, and the Lakers are 2. The Kings just have to put some kind of winning streak together. And in order to do that, they're going to have to find some level of consistency. And so something has to become what they can rely on. Last year, they relied on the offense consistently. They were one of the best. Well, they were the best offensive team we've seen in Sacramento, one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen. This year, we see glimpses of it. And the offense, meanwhile, the offensive rating has plummeted this year, while the rest of the league, so many other teams, actually end up playing much better offense than the Kings. Defensively, they're a little better. They've moved up, 5 spots in defensive rating? That's not nothing, but you move up a few spots defensively, and your offense is not close to what it was, and you end up being a team that's scrapping to stay out of the play-in. Now, if the Kings are a play-in team, which to me it looks like they are, there's no shame in that. Last year, I think Kings fans would have really enjoyed a spot in the play-in if they'd gotten out of it. They would have seen that as an accomplishment, assuming they'd gotten out of it. But after you're 3 last year in the West, this year the play-in looks like, what's going on? I thought we were better than that. It's been a weird year for the Kings in that the league has caught them and passed them in a lot of areas. So the reality is right now, you're looking at the plan with a chance to get out of the plan, maybe finish 5th or 6th. Big picture, the history of the Kings, that's not bad, is it? I mean, when you look at how many years the Kings went without being in the playoffs, if you're a play-in team, especially if you're 7th or 8th, you get 2 chances to get out of that into the playoffs. Big picture, I think Kings fans, you'd have to take that. Even though a lot of fans think, hey, 3rd last year should be better than that this year. It's a nice thought, but right now it doesn't appear very realistic. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. How about George? Let's talk to George on Sactown Sports. Hello, George. What's up?
Thank you for taking my call. I was just wondering, what is the reason that we're not discussing that we have a serious deficit in the backup point guard? You cannot have a backup point guard that suffers greatly to score after, especially when you have your all-star point guard that gives you over 30 points and 6 rebounds and 6 assists.
Mm-hmm.
And then the backup point guard is playing 14 minutes, gives you 4 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. So you have bad position in the backup point guard. So I'm not exactly sure, but that was very apparent last year also. And till now, we've never really addressed that point. So now when you're having Fox is down, you have a much greater possibility you're going to lose a game.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, George, for the call. I think if there's an answer to your question, because I know a lot of people have been wondering about that, and I remember talking about it in the offseason and last year. I think the Kings' answer to that is that Malik basically is your backup point guard, even though he and Fox are on the floor a lot. Malik becomes your backup point guard. Then after that, it's Davion for the most part. So I think the Kings feel like, all things considered, they're okay with that. There is, I believe, Patty Mills. I have to double check on this. I think Patty Mills got bought out. He may be on the market. Again, I have to double check on that. Is that somebody the Kings would be interested in? I don't know. I think they feel, though, that between Malik Monk, who, and sometimes he's off guard, and Davion, I think they feel like they're okay. They're comfortable with that position. To me, what that speaks to is that this is the issue with the roster. You've got so many guys coming off the bench for the Kings that if you're the coach, you got to decide, do I want to go offense or defense? With so many players, and I know Vezenkov's not playing right now, but he's hurt, and I hope he's back soon. He's a very clear example of this. Do I want to go offense? Because he's like, I can go offense with Vezenkov. I'm not going to get anything defensively. Davion, for the most part, and he's making strides, making progress offensively, but he's a guy he's a good defender, but offensively, I don't get anything. Kessler Edwards, he can defend, but I'm probably not going to get much offensively. And so when the coach, every time he brings somebody in, he has to make that choice. It's tough, especially when you're behind. Boy, we got to stem the tide here. I could put in a better defender, but there's no way then I'm going to be able to score enough to make up the difference. So I think we're seeing here some of the flaws with the roster, which are because some of these guys just haven't improved as much as the Kings were hoping they would have improved by now. Drapes was just talking about Duarte. He gives a glimmer of hope as a guy who maybe can give you a little something at both ends here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Sally on Sactown Sports. Hello, Sally. What's going on?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm a longtime Kings fan. I just started listening to 1140.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Isn't it great?
Yes, it is. But, last year was so magical that it's such a disappointment that we didn't improve that. I mean, yeah, in the standings, we're looking a little better, but still, it just doesn't feel like the magical year it felt like last year.
Yeah, thank you, Sally. I think you speak for many, 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 many people. I think a lot of people assumed, we all hoped, and a lot of people assumed that third seed last year came out of nowhere. We're ahead of schedule. Wow, sky's the limit this year. And instead, it's been an up and down year. And there's been a lot more of a sense of, this is disappointing. This is underwhelming. Whereas last year was, I think you used the word, magical. The only thing I can say is, and you probably know this, and longtime basketball fans know this, it's not always linear, and that's kind of become cliche, but it's true. I remember the Kings when they busted through in 1999, the lockout year, and they almost beat the Jazz in the first round. I remember some similar conversations about this team is great. You got Webb, you got J. Will. This team's going to win 50 games the next year. And the next year after that, 2000, they won 44, and they were out in the first round. And it was kind of disappointing. It's like, what happened? Well, then the next year, they broke through, finally won a playoff series before they lost to the Lakers again. Then the year after that, they got to the conference finals. Obviously, what that team did doesn't mean that this team's on their way to the conference finals in a couple of years, but I think it's good to keep that in mind. The assumption that you get better in sports from one year to the next, it doesn't always happen that way. So hopefully that's what we're seeing here. It's also possible that some of the things that the Kings could have done to improve, maybe they just weren't there for Monty. Maybe he had to, make some tough decisions on, we're going to wait. I know Shams, we're going to hear some Shams comments today. Shams says the Kings are still a team to keep an eye on this summer. Fingers crossed. Of course, we got a long ways to go before this season is over. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. If something is missing with the Kings, what the heck is it? We roll on here. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sactown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
For John's 60th birthday, his family planned to drive down Old Route 66. But the trip took a detour when his wife got sick with RSV. It's a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems and hospitalizations.
This year, we don't want to cancel our plans. We're protecting ourselves with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine.
Abrysvo, a vaccine to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. It's not for everyone and may not protect all who receive it. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had an allergic reaction to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may decrease your response. Most common side effects are tiredness, headache, injection site pain, and muscle pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com.
So don't wait. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, because every breath matters.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Hagen Oaks is introducing the newly designed Callaway Chrome Tour line of golf balls, offering outstanding tour performance. From cover to core, Chrome Tour is the new gold standard tour ball for players who want the best in distance and feel. Chrome Tour is engineered for outstanding performance with exceptional speed, consistent flight, incredible spin, and greenside control. Ask about the full line of Callaway Chrome Tour golf balls at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
No one does spring travel like Amtrak. That's because now more kids ages 2 to 12 ride for 50% off. Not only will you travel comfortably, you'll save too. Book now at Amtrak.com. Restrictions apply.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you, Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
One ticket, 2 shows, the Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. Multiple dealers discounting all the best brands. Hundreds of wakeboard boats, travel trailers, pontoon boats, fifth wheel, personal watercraft and ATVs, toy haulers, fishing boats, motorhomes, and more. One massive event. The Sacramento Boat Show and Off-Road Exposition, plus the Big RV Show. March 7th through 10th. Find discounts at twohugeshows.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Woo! Just taking a hard look at where the Kings are and looking at whether we need a hard reset on our expectations. Thanks for being with us. Kyle Draper getting situated in Minnesota. We should be hearing from Drapes at any moment now. They left Denver late. Interesting. Drape says they had a team session that ran long today. Says it ran really long. We don't know why. Don't mean to lead any speculation, but facts is facts. We just don't know why that was. So if the Kings are missing something right now, what do you think it is? It's pretty clear the offense isn't what it was. Defensively, they're a little better, but is there kind of a sense of swagger that they had last year? I think it was Sam Amick today. I think he was on with J. Ross. I think he said, yeah, there's something that was there last year that's not there. What the heck is it? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. John joins us on Sactown Sports. Hey, John, thanks for hanging on. What's up?
Hi.
Hey.
No, I was thinking about that. I was talking about different ways to win.
Yeah.
And it just comes down to matchups, and they're not changing the matchups. They're just trying to get the players to play differently. But you don't have to have Keegan on their best guy. There's always 2 or 3 guys that he can guard. You can get a lot of different players in. The other team then they either have to keep the matchup going offense, defense, or not. So you have a lot of transition disruption.
You're talking about cross matchups? Yeah, I got you. Okay.
It's just about executing, having a plan, executing your matchups, and disrupting the other team. Because you don't have to have your switches always off their best guy. There's always 2 or 3 guys that you can attack, and 1 or 2 guys that you maybe just leave on an island.
Gotcha, John. Thank you. Sounds like John thinks that Kings maybe they're switching too much. And switches is a big part of Mike Brown's defensive philosophy. It was interesting after the Miami game. He was asked about doubling Jaquez and who else would it have been? It would have been Jaquez and Bam and somebody else. And he said, you can't. He phrased it this way. He said, I don't believe in, you can't doubling more than 2 guys. When you think about it, you can, or you're just running around like crazy if you're trying to double more than 2 guys. The matchups have been an issue. As far as John's an interesting point about Keegan, they think he's their best defender or can be their best defender, so they want him on the other team's top offensive player, and they feel like that's how they're getting the best value out of him, and therefore they feel like that makes them the most competitive they can be when he's on the floor. Maybe they'll rethink that, but I think so far he's shown a lot of growth in that area. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I'm sorry, Kyle Draper. Okay, we're going to get Drapes on the phone here. Can I go to Drew real quick? Yeah, Drew with us on Sactown Sports. Hello, Drew.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I wanted to go back to the point you were making earlier. I think that, you're exactly right. They overachieved last year, and everybody's like, oh, well, now that they overachieved, things got to happen quick. It doesn't just happen, in a season. You get those miracles once in a while, but, people got to think. A few years ago, even, we were begging to be over 500. Now we make one playoff series, and everybody's like, well, why aren't they producing as much this year? It may be ups and downs, but, we're still producing wins. It may not be as pretty as last year. we had people switch it up a little bit. We lost like Terrence Davis and stuff like that. But realistically, like, they just need to, like the last caller said, like, they need to work on matchups a little more, because I think they're a little inconsistent with who guards who, so they're not getting as comfortable. So when that happens, there's a lot of defensive breakdowns, and it really doesn't, mesh well together when you're not communicating on defense because you're not as comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Drew. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate that. It is unfortunate because in the grand scheme of things, all the years the Kings have had, this year compares favorably for the most part to many of them. And yet there's just more of a sense of, disappointment this year. Let's see what Kyle Draper thinks of all that. I'm sorry. Next segment. All right. I apologize. Thought Drapes was going to join us here. Kyle Draper will join us next segment here as we've been getting him squared away. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. As far as the offense or the defense, I think it's pretty clear the Kings defensively are not a good team, and they're not going to be a good team. Was it last night? Mike Brown said, I thought we were okay in stretches. It's pretty clear to me that Mike Brown thought by now, or hoped that his team would be better defensively. And since they didn't make any moves at the deadline, it's apparent that the Kings defensively, they are what they are. Doesn't mean they still can't get a little better. They still need to play with more intensity. They still need to close out better and more consistently, but I don't think they're going to be a very good defensive team this year. The improvement they've made, we all said, if you can move from 25th to maybe 20th, hey, with the offense you have, that should be good enough. It's okay. The Kings are contending for a playoff spot, but they're not where they hoped they'd be because the offense has fallen off. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Tim joining us on Sactown Sports. Hello, Tim. Tim? Yes.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Fire away.
Yes, Yes, here's the problem. Until we start acting like a championship organization, we're never going to be a championship contender. The organization failed us by not upgrading this roster. Like, if you want to stay as a play-in spot, that's what we're going to be. Let's go after it and get after it as fans, as announcers, everybody. We got to try to win championships. Miami's not thinking, we're going to be a play-in spot and be satisfied with that. We need to get after it.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Thank you for the call. From a fan standpoint, I'm not sure how much that helps. I think it behooves fans after years of wandering in the wilderness to be somewhat patient with a group that came in and with first year coach, they were a 3 seed. The expectations, it's obvious that the inclination is we want more the next year. Might not get more this year. Might. We still don't know yet. But I don't think it's I don't know. To me, it's not prudent to get impatient already. I understand your point, and I understand the frustration. To me, when you say you got to be a championship organization, to me, what I hear you saying is they didn't do anything at the deadline. They hardly did anything in the offseason. They didn't do anything at the deadline when clearly they had a chance to upgrade their team. And I'm not sure that any of the moves that were available to them would have been worth making. And I also know that the Kings were in on Siakam. Why it fell apart, we don't know. Was it Siakam didn't want to come here? That probably was a big part of it. Was it because Toronto wanted Keegan and the Kings weren't willing to part with Keegan? That probably was a big factor too. But if the Kings made a run at Siakam, and by all accounts and all appearances they did, that means they were trying. And I don't blame them if they looked at Siakam and said, he's going to help us. We made a run at him, but just because we didn't get him, we're not going to go after Kyle Kuzma. You are limited by what's available to you. So that's why I understand your point. You want to be a championship team. Let's go. Let's do something. I don't think we can indict Monte McNair yet for his inactivity because we're not sure what other options were. And again, Shams said today, keep an eye on the Kings going forward this summer. They've got a lot of assets available. If this continues, if this offseason they didn't do anything and then next year they start to decline, then I think it's time to start hooting and hollering. For now, it's hard to be patient because we want the Kings to start winning, but unless we know exactly who is available what other options were out there. I'm not ready to indict the front office yet for their inactivity. Michael, Sactown Sports, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Hello, Michael.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Good. What do you got?
Just kind of observations for the Kings. It's like I feel like I understand Rashawn Holmes had some issues, but I think we really should have kept that first-round pick, given the fact we made the playoffs. We lost that this year's 2024 pick because I feel like a lot of teams are getting stingier, and that's one thing I'll give knock on Monty and drafting Davion Mitchell. He's an undersized one guard, but yeah, I don't know. And then what really bothered me, and I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but the moment Fox switched from the Kobe Bryant shoes to joining our rivals company of Steph Curry, I really think that kind of the demeanor, you got to have that oomph, man. You got, it's your rivals, like, Rick Fox getting punched by Doug Christie type of stuff. I don't know. Our energy is a little off. We're too buddy, but yeah, I just wanted to just say my thoughts. But yeah, thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I haven't really thought about that much. I know other people have made that point. Something to keep an eye on. I have a hard time believing, knowing what a competitor De'Aaron Fox is, have a hard time believing that would change his demeanor or his outlook at all. Understand your point, though. Let's see. How about Matt? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Hello, Matt. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. Let's chat with Matt. What do you got?
Hey, I may be a minority opinion here, but I'm calling in to preach patience. The last time the Kings were good, if my memory serves me correctly, didn't it take 3 consecutive years to break through with a first-round playoff victory? They lost to the Jazz 3-2, I believe, in '99.
Yes.
Lost to the Lakers 3-2 in 2000.
Yes.
And then finally beat the Suns in
Correct.
01. So,
Correct.
hey, as long as we make the playoffs, we're still on a winning path, on a winning trajectory, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're playing for here.
Yes. Thank you for the call. You're 100% right. I think I made that point earlier. I will say the previous caller mentioned the draft picks. That's one thing it's hard to stomach as a fan of a team in a small market. First round draft picks are so important. De'Aaron Fox was a great pick. Keegan was a really good pick, maybe a great pick. And then Halliburton was a great pick, and you got Domas for him. As far as Davion, we don't know. Yeah, you're right. He has not been a great pick. And then to this year not have a pick, that really hurt. You're trying to get better, and you see some of the other youngsters in the West, some of the first-round picks, really blossoming and showing promise. But that's the deal the Kings had to make to get where they got to last year. That's another reason why I think they were so reluctant to trade any of those picks to bring in any veterans at the deadline. How's that going to work out? We'll see. But I think right now, enjoy the rest of this year. There's a lot to enjoy, and patience next year. But, yeah, things have to happen this offseason. I'll tell you what else will happen. Kyle Draper will join us when we come back. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
37,000, 25, 1. These are the 3 numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need to make the right business decisions instantly. 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down expenses. 1. Because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need to grow, all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance absolutely free at netsuite.com/company. That's netsuite.com/company to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/company.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
With the game coming up in Minneapolis tomorrow, then the Kings are back home. A lot of games left in March. Things getting dicey as you look at the schedule. So where do the Kings go from here? Let's find out from play-by-play voice of the Kings. And, man, his Mercedes-Benz commercial is new and is beautiful.
Oh, it sure is. And it's jumping, isn't it?
Kyle Draper!
What's up, fellas? Oh, my gosh.
Nice music behind
it.
it.
Commercial yesterday? Did you see it during the game?
Yeah, what is that one? Hi, I'm Kyle Draper. I'm the announcer for your favorite team. Wink, wink.
Exactly, right? Hey, I can't use Sacramento Kings in it, though.
I know.
That's the problem. I mean, and so I got a few texts yesterday. Everybody's like, Drapes, we saw your commercial. I'm like, oh, snap, it's running?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I done made the big time now, man.
The kingdom, baby, the kingdom.
Oh, man. So, no, it's been great. Now, I'll tell you what, though. I don't know if you guys have noticed, like, the travel that the Kings have been on these last 2 months. We talk about their season, their schedule this month and everything, and they're not reaching expectations. I think they've had 8 straight games, guys, off of travel, meaning they fly to a city, play a game, then fly out. Like, they haven't been in the same spot for 2 straight games, and I think in 8 games. And I think it continues tomorrow in Minneapolis. It continues Monday in Sacramento. Then we go to LA. Then we come back to Sac. And so it's no joke, man. It's I don't know what Adam Silver been thinking, but he didn't give us our boys any breaks these last 2 months.
Drapes, what do you think of this idea? Maybe you don't think there's anything to it, but I think Sam Amick mentioned it today on the station, and I know fans see it just looking at the chat comments here. If there's something missing with this team compared to last year, is there something missing? And if so, what in the world is it? I would say there certainly appears to be a lack of swagger. There's a confidence that was there last year that certainly isn't there right now.
No, there is something missing, and I can't put my finger on it. I think it's execution in the fourth quarter. Last year it was like they figured out a way to win games. Now it's like when they go to hit that button to answer back, it just doesn't click for this team. And so I don't know what's going on regarding that. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is still putting up big time fourth quarter minutes. But last year, he just always delivered. The problem is we haven't been in a whole lot of close games where we can get to that clutch point and where De'Aaron can take over. I also think, when you look at Mike Brown and his first year, there's that honeymoon stage, right?
Yep.
Anything coach says, oh, yeah, okay, coach, yeah, we're excited, we're fired up. Now these guys are like, it's the second year, the expectations are higher. They're not playing to break a streak anymore, a drought anymore. And I believe Mike Brown is also asking more of them as well, too. Like, I think he's harder on them. I think he has a shorter leash on some guys. And so it just isn't flowing and clicking like it did a season ago.
I made a point a little bit ago. I wonder what you think of this. I think Mike Brown faces some tough choices when he has to go to the bench because quite often, not all the time, but quite often when he's bringing in a player, he has to choose between offense or defense. I mean, a lot. Like I use Sasha as an example. I know he's not playing right now. Sasha's like, well, I'm not going to get any defense, but he can shoot. Davion, well, he's been shooting the ball a little better, but he's a defensive player. Kessler Edwards, people wonder, why doesn't he play? Well, offensively, I'm not getting anything. So I think that's one of the things that makes it difficult for Mike Brown, and maybe that's one reason why his rotations have been a little inconsistent. There's not a lot of two-way guys there right now anyway. Maybe Duarte becomes that, but a lot of these guys, it's either you can count on one or the other, but not both from them.
Yeah, that's true, Whitey, but I'll push back and say, wasn't it that way last season? Was Terrence Davis a lockdown defender?
No,
was
sir.
Chimezi Metu a lockdown defender? And so I think when you look at this year's Kings team versus last year's Kings team, I think the top 7 were more consistent last year. Like this year, one day it's Kevin Huerter who's struggling. Next day it's Keegan Murray who's struggling. Then it's Malik Monk. And I felt like last year we had more games where everybody was clicking, if you know what I mean. Especially after the All-Star break, especially the second half of the season. Like Keegan struggled a little bit last December, but he snapped out of it. Kevin Huerter went through his little spell after the All-Star game 3-point contest. And so I just think this year it seems like everybody's sort of not on the same page or clicking at the same time as much as last year.
Yeah. I just feel that with the Kings right now, the path forward the rest of the year has got to be improved offense. And I've been preaching defense isn't good enough. Defense isn't good enough. Well, it's a little bit better. We know that. The numbers say it's better. Thought I was telling last night, Mike Brown said, I thought at times our defense was okay. That's like the best he could say. But I think it's not realistic to think that the defense between now and the end of the year is going to dramatically improve. Offensively, we know what they did last year. I think there's a better chance of them finding some consistency there, and I think that's what they got to lean into the rest of the way.
Yeah, but let me ask you this too, Heidi, and I agree with you. You got to go with what got you there, basically. You got to be who you are. They're an offensive team. Like, is that a coaching thing, or do we just need guys to make more shots? You know what I mean? Like, we talk about where this offense has had its shortcomings. It's not as potent as it was last year. It seems to me to be the same offense. It seems to me that they're getting a lot of good shots. Guys just aren't clicking like they were. Think about it. Keegan Murray set a rookie record in three-pointers made last season. We know Keegan's a great shooter. We know that, but his numbers are down. Kevin Huerter had a career year shooting the ball. His numbers are down. And so I understand wanting to lean into the offense. You also look at the pace, too. The pace is down from a season ago. And so I think it's the same offense. I don't think there's any new wrinkles, really. I think it's mostly the same offense, but for some reason, they are not performing at the level they did last year.
Well, one reason, I know Mike Brown has talked about this, we all know it, just the foul shooting is terrible. Not only are they missing foul shots, they're not getting to the line as often, and that can have a profound impact on your offense when that's happening game after game after game. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, 100%. And when you look at shooting 79% last year versus 71 this year, you're talking 5 or 6 points a game.
Exactly.
You're leaving on the floor. And can you imagine if this team was averaging 5 more points? And also, Whitey, to your point, when teams go on runs, what's a great way to slow down those runs? Get to the free throw line. Maybe you're not making 3-pointers. You know what? Get to the free throw line. Get yourself going. We haven't seen that this year. And so I agree with you, man. It's just, I think when you look at last year, everybody says, oh, you caught people by surprise. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think you surprised your own selves. I don't think anybody expected that team to be a 48-win team. And once you win 48, that's the expectation. That's the bar you set for yourself. And now everybody says, all right, everybody's back, pretty much ran it back, another season together. We should at least have the same results. And the wins have been there, but it just doesn't feel the same. I will say this, though. When you look at the Western Conference and you look at the standings, as bad as it feels to be a Sacramento King fan right now, the team you think may be underachieving, things aren't clicking like it was a season ago, look at the teams that are right around the Sacramento Kings when it comes to the Western Conference standings. I got the standings right here. They're a half game behind Dallas. They're a game behind New Orleans. They're a game behind Phoenix.
For fifth.
I bring this up because as helter-skelter of a season as it feels for the Kings, it's like that for other teams too.
Yeah.
Like, Dallas, we look at Dallas like, oh man, they're having this great year. They made some great moves. They're only a half a game more up on the Kings. Phoenix, they got Brad Beal. They made all these moves. They're only a game up. And so as bad as it feels, the Kings could be as high as 5 or they could be as low as 10. And so with these last 24 games, I hope that they go on a run, obviously. I hope, but it's still there for them. Like, here's the thing, though, too, Whitey, real quick. I don't think they're having the same conversations in Dallas that we're having here in Sacramento. I don't think they're having the same conversations in New Orleans that we're having here in Sacramento. But yet, the Pelicans are only a game up on us. And so why are we feeling so negative about this season when two teams right ahead of us by a half game in a game are feeling great about their season so far?
It's a great question. We'll answer that. Also, tell you why one big-time NBA insider says keep an eye on the Kings this summer. Next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Boot Barn is committed to supporting those who uphold the Western way of life. Denim plays a major role as a robust material that holds strong in a rugged environment. Since 1947, the Wrangler Authentic Western jeans have brought long-lasting denim to all who embrace the cowboy lifestyle. Boot Barn is proud to support this bold legacy, one that's just as iconic now as it was then. Wrangler at Boot Barn.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Yeah, I caught my first fish, Dad!
Great job, buddy. He's a beauty.
Thanks for taking me fishing. Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure the boat's always ready for those magical father-son moments. Who knows, maybe someday he'll actually like fishing. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Welcome to a brand new year filled with limitless possibilities at Kia of Vacaville. Prepare yourself for an extraordinary driving adventure as we present our impressive 2024 vehicle lineup. Step into the future with state-of-the-art technology, groundbreaking features, and the sleek design that has become synonymous with Kia. Immerse yourself in the dynamic performance of the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating power. Experience the fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Indulge in the sophistication of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending luxury and versatility. Don't overlook our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, ideal for those who prioritize efficiency without sacrificing style. If you're in search of the EV9, Kia of Vacaville has it in stock or available for delivery. Visit Kia of Vacaville today and cruise into 2024 with confidence and style. Kia of Vacaville, where innovation meets the road. Elevate your drive, elevate your year. Model availability and features may vary. Please see the dealership for details.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
My dad used to, he took me to horse races, Solano County Fair. We used to watch like the Kentucky Derby on TV. And I still watch horse racing occasionally. One of my favorite parts about watching a horse race, especially the big one, Triple Crown, is when they get to the top of the backstretch and the announcer says, "And down the stretch they come." It's very exciting. Tomorrow is March 1st. As far as the NBA race goes, starting tomorrow, Drapes, down the stretch they come, right? And the Kings they're in a pretty good position. Just that they're starting to maybe fade a little bit. They're drifting back towards the pack, but they're in a decent position to make a run. And so it appears that a lot of people right now are getting a little anxious. Why isn't this as exciting as last year? Drapes just asked the question, why aren't we feeling as good about things as fans in Dallas and New Orleans are? Drapes, I want to share with you a couple of comments here on the text line. Drapes coming to us from Minneapolis. Just a sampling here. This is interesting. In response to a caller, Miami didn't build that kind of an organization and culture in a year. Who they are now as a result of a process of many years of crafting a perennial contender, which is what Monty is doing. Then we have someone else. Patience. We've been patient for 17 years. Get out of here. The West is wide open. Go for it. Then we have Mike Brown. Call it what it is. This year, he's been exposed. So a lot of anxiety right now over where the Kings are, Drapes.
Unbelievable, man. I get it, Kings fans. We wanted the top 4 seed. We wanted the team to take a step forward. But I don't think Mike Brown has forgot how to coach or anything like that after just one season. I think what you're looking at, and honestly, Whitey, let's keep it real. We kind of forecasted this when you looked at the moves the other teams made. Minnesota, another year for them. They got the talent. Anthony Edwards taking that step forward. OKC, we knew they'd be a growing, rising, tough team. Maybe not number 1, number 2 in the West, but we thought they'd be better. As bad as Dallas was last year to end the season, they were still a talented team. And so I think we went into the season thinking, we wanted higher expectations for this team. But when you looked at their record, and now, mind you, they still can achieve 48 wins on the season. A lot of people predicted them at 43 wins, 44, 45 wins. And so I don't know many people that predicted 52, 53. So I don't understand, why this team is being viewed as a disappointment. Think about it. Last year, this time, they were, maybe a game or 2 better, if that. But they were the 3 seed. And so that made you feel much better. Because the West is as strong as it is, so many teams got better, we feel like, oh my gosh, sky is falling. And when you look at the teams that made the moves, the Kings didn't do anything, really.
Right.
And so this, we kind of could predict this, to be honest with you.
The Drapes and Whitey, this is something that caught my ear. I think it was about 20 minutes ago. Was Sally was a caller, Drapes, and I don't think you had the opportunity to hear her, but one of the things that she used, one of the words she used was magical.
Yep.
And I think that's part of it. Is like, listen, this isn't a Cinderella movie. Like, I understand what happened last year was unexpected from all different angles, minus the people, and Drapes, you can speak to this, the people that were down there at the G1C inside the locker room and people that are part of the team. And the fact of it is yes, it was magical because it had been so long for a magical season to happen here in Sacramento. And now we're like in the thick of things. Like, okay, now we're getting to a point to where we have to build and, add to the magical season. And every season isn't magical.
Right. I think Trace made a great point. Last year it did seem magical for everyone because everybody had that goal. What are we doing? We're making the playoffs. This year, what are we doing? Getting back there, winning, trying to win a championship. It's just hard. The first time's the easiest, and then you got to repeat it. What are we repeating? But Drapes, you look at those standings. You were talking about the standings, and this also underscores why Kings fans are a little just anxious. Yeah, Sacramento, and I know you can look at the standings and see this, but the Kings are just a game out of 5th, but they're 2 out of 9th, and they're 2.5 out of 10th right now. And so such a tremendous difference, so much still in play. Fans, sometimes it's like a defense mechanism. They've lost a couple in a row. You start to get pessimistic and they got another tough one tomorrow. So, they got a lot of pizza left in the box.
So let me ask you guys this, because at this point last year, the Kings record was exactly the same, 33-25. Through the 58 games, they were 33-25. So is it that the Kings aren't living up to expectations, aren't playing better, or that everybody else has gotten better and the Kings sort of stayed the same?
Well, I think Will, last time we talked about this and Will checked in, I think he spoke for a lot of people. It's not just the record. And as you just pointed out, it's the standing where you are, but the way that the 33-25, when you watch it, it's hard if you watch every game to feel like, man, this team, you feel more like, I don't know. So I think that's a big part of it. They've been so up and down.
Yeah, I'm more of the prone of the people around the Kings got better, and the Kings, and we don't know this for sure, but we do know they've tried to get better behind the scenes, and it just hasn't happened for whatever reason. I think, not preaching patience, Drapes and Whitey, but I do think. And I said this, Drapes, and I don't think you were with us Monday. if you flip-flop these seasons,
sure.
If you gave this season last year and then this year the Kings moved up to the 3 seed and took a next step, everybody would be okay.
Absolutely.
Right? I think everybody would be fine. And so I think, Drapes, if you're getting to, correct me if I'm wrong, like, we're okay. The Kings are in a good position, and we just have to let some things play out. And I think post that, depending on what, happens in the postseason, then we'll start to push the narrative of a championship. What's the next step? What's the next goal? And trying to get better.
No, you're 100% right about that, Jay. And that's the thing. When you look at what other teams were able to do, like, other teams got better. And I'm not talking about Warriors and Lakers. They're just as bad as they were a season ago. But OKC made a tremendous leap.
Minnesota.
How about New Orleans actually being healthy this year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been waiting for the bottom to drop out on them, and it hasn't. Phoenix got better. How about the Clippers? Kawhi's actually playing games, And so all that factors. And to your point, Jay, if this season would have happened last year, we'd be erecting a parade. We'd be celebrating.
Absolutely.
Right now. We'd be talking, they're going to end the drought. They're going to get in. I don't believe this. And I just think, and it goes back to the point I made last segment. It's like, if we were in New Orleans or Dallas right now, they're celebrating their seasons. Like, the people in the Pelicans, New Orleans fans, they're excited. They're only a game up on us. It's all about perception, man. And I think, honestly, if I'm going to be straight up with you guys, I think we're doing a disservice to the players and to the organization right now, because this thing doesn't happen overnight. Like, this team is most likely going to make the playoffs for 2 straight years. Whitey, you've been saying it. When's the last time that happened? And so I just think now, it was last week, people were talking about giving up season tickets. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's
what
crazy.
What are we doing here?
That's
What are
crazy.
we talking about, Kings fans? This team still plays hard every night. Sure, the wins haven't come. And obviously, Monty McNair has a lot of work or some work to do to improve this roster. The flaws were evident last night, and I've been saying it for the last year and a half. When the system breaks down, we don't have the players that can go out there and take over and get a bucket. That's what we need to add some of that, I think, this offseason.
Well, I agree with you, but I would push back on the notion that fans are doing the team a disservice, because fans are going to fan. And I remember you spoke for many people, those losses in Houston when you guys came back from that trip. I mean, you were beside yourself. You couldn't believe the way the Kings played. And we've seen that a lot this year. And it's because Kings fans, okay, maybe expectations were out of whack, but we didn't expect the Kings to, get their lunch money stolen as often as it has this year. So there's just a lot of confusion. And we talk about the team's identity. Well, fans don't know what this team is either. And so that leads to a lot of anxiety. What are they?
But fellas, and Drapes just talked about it. The Kings are right where they were last year. It just doesn't
not really.
But
yes, it's the same record.
But on print they are.
Where are they in the standings? That's what matters.
Whitey, no. You can't all of a sudden, just because everybody else gets better, expect you to turn into a Mercedes-Benz or something like that. You got a nice Toyota SUV. It was good for you last year. And now all of a sudden, because your neighbors then upgraded their cars, you want all of a sudden your car to. You are what you are. The Kings are 33-25. Mike Brown won the Coach of the Year because of the record they had. And they're on track to do the same exact thing. And now all of a sudden people are calling for him, saying he doesn't know how to coach, calling out Monty McNair. This negativity sucks, man. This is what Rick Pitino was going through back in Boston in the early 2000s. Yeah, I'm not on board with this negativity right now in this city.
Well, the Mike Brown stuff, I'm with you. It's ridiculous. It's just really ridiculous. But as far as they're the same as they were last year, they're just not, because it doesn't matter what your record are. It matters what your record is relative to everybody else. That's why they keep track of records. So, I mean, I think that's a little bit head in the sand to say, right where they were last year.
No, not at all, Whitey. No, not at all. Because 2 years ago, we would have loved to have been in this position. And this is what I'm talking about with the fan base right now. It's like, let's not forget where we came from. This is not a process. We talked to Chris Marlowe. We talked to Scott Hastings about how things were in Denver early on in the Michael Malone years. And so if fans ready to jump off the bandwagon already, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, this is a process. The Celtics didn't become the Celtics overnight. The Warriors, remember early, they had some lumps, and it took them some time to get going. And so these things just don't happen overnight. You don't go from 0 to championship contender overnight.
You're right. As far as the process goes, tell you again, and we'll hear from the NBA Insider says, keep an eye on the Kings this summer. Right back with that. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division title, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Get huge savings on our best selection of new Hondas during our Honda President's Day sales event at Folsom Lake Honda.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Plus, get an instant cash offer for your trade. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
We've been talking about the Kings and the process and where this is all headed and why are some fans getting a little overly negative about it. Fans already jumping off the bandwagon. We're not even done with the season after the Kings went to the playoffs for the first time in 16 years. That seems ridiculous.
Who was getting rid of the tickets, Whitey? Who are you saying was talking about getting rid of their tickets?
That's I'll take them. Yeah, I'll take them. Yeah. Drape's with us from Minneapolis. How about just taking a cold hard look at things, Drapes? You're in Minneapolis where it's cold. How challenging is this game tomorrow?
Oh man, this is brutal tomorrow. Anthony Edwards is questionable. So is De'Aaron Fox right now. So maybe we'll catch Minnesota without Edwards. I doubt it though, because as we know, he's the kind of guy that likes to play through things. He wants to try and play in all 82, and he wants to be out there. This is a challenge, and that's what we need to put it into perspective too, guys. We just had the conversation last week. The Kings got the 8th toughest schedule. They got the 5th toughest schedule. Like, you could look at all these other teams over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I would argue the Kings, if we just look at the last 3 weeks, have like maybe one of the toughest schedules, if not the toughest, in the Western Conference. And so, do we really think, and Jay, I heard you a little bit earlier talking about going into Denver yesterday. Like, do we really think we were going to win that game? After beating them 3 times, and you don't have De'Aaron Fox?
Nope.
Same thing with this Minnesota team. Minnesota's a good team. And so if I'm Sacramento, if I'm the fans, just hang on. Because when you look at the schedule, it lightens up. I mean, there are some pockets, to string together some wins coming up for this Sacramento Kings team. You got Chicago, a team that's shorthanded. Hopefully, De'Aaron Fox went off when you played them last month out there in Chicago. You got the Lakers. You've had their number. Tomas has owned Anthony Davis. Then you come back home. You got the Spurs. Then you got Houston. And so we've seen with this team, and this is the roller coaster that we live on, you feel bad after a loss or two, but then they rattle off 4 straight, and now you're back high again. And so just be patient, Kings fans, especially the month of March. I mean, their schedule lightens up a great deal. They got another stretch, fellas, and I know it's on the road, but listen to this. They got a home game against Memphis. Then they're at Toronto, at Washington, at Orlando. That'll be tough. Home against Philly, probably no Joel Embiid. So that's what I'm saying. The schedule lightens up. And so there's still a possibility for this team.
By the way, you mentioned the Lakers, Drapes, and we know that LeBron now is just 40 away from 40,000 career points. Your guy, Campio, says, he got his first points against the Kings. I'd like to see him get 40,000 against the Kings. I'm not in favor of that.
No.
Just what, and that, that would be that's the 4th game from here that the Lakers plays against the Kings. How do you feel about that? The idea of LeBron getting 40,000 against the Kings?
I mean, from a fan standpoint and being there and being able to tell people I was there when LeBron scored his 40,000, yes. But from a,
I don't want any part of it.
Right. From a, he scored his, exactly. He could get it the day after or the day before or something like that. Yeah. It would be cool to have that ticket. Well, you don't have ticket stubs anymore, I guess. But, to say I was there that night, 20 years, 30 years down the line, when you're talking to your grandkids or something, to be, I saw LeBron. I saw him when he dropped his 40,000th point. But from a Kings perspective, as a Kings fan, nah, man, do that somewhere else.
Yeah. Are you starting to hear their footsteps behind you a little bit if you're the Kings? Because I think so.
Not yet. Here is the thing, though, Whitey, that I know about LeBron James. He understands how to manipulate a season. He understands when it's time to rest, coast, and when it's time to turn it up. And best believe he understands the magnitude of next Wednesday's game against the Sacramento Kings, a team that is ahead of them by 2 games in the standings. And so I think that's going to be a massive game. I think Anthony Davis and LeBron will see them at their best. And so that's one of those must wins. Yeah. Like, I know how things feel right now, but 7th and 8th versus 9 and 10th, that's a world of difference in terms of feel.
Absolutely.
9 or 10, you only get one crack at it. 7 or 8, you win one and you're in. 9 and 10, you got to win 2 to get in.
I know.
And so that's it's going to be massive next week.
Yeah, looking ahead, maybe looking ahead too far, but looking ahead to the summer. We know a lot of fans are wondering, why didn't the Kings do anything last summer? Why didn't they do anything at the deadline? Well, Shams today was saying that when it comes to next summer, the Kings are a team to keep your eye on. Let's listen.
This season just feels different. Record-wise, they're pretty similar to where they were last year, but they're not a home court team right now. They're not a team that's a shoo-in for the playoffs. They're in the play-in tournament, even though they have a similar record. I think that speaks to the Western Conference, but that's the tenor of this season for the Kings. And they knew kind of going into the year that they would be aggressive when there would be opportunities. And they were essentially the runner-ups for Pascal Siakam. They had a lot of conversations with Toronto. Obviously, he ended up in Indiana. And Pascal Siakam, a lot of it was determined by him. He was going to be a free agent. He's going to be a free agent this offseason. And he gave Indiana a sense of confidence that he was going to re-sign there potentially and give them an opportunity to re-sign there. Whereas with the Kings, that similar confidence just was not given, which is why the Kings made an offer for Siakam. But that offer, it was basically what they were comfortable doing while rolling the dice on a guy that could be a rental. So the Kings have been opportunistic. They'll continue to be. They have De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis. They have multiple draft picks they can trade. They have assets that they can move, tradable contracts. So going to this summer, I think definitely have to keep an eye on the Kings. But we'll see how they try to turn this around over the next, month and a half of the season.
I would say to all the fans, and I'm one of them who, sometimes we start pulling our hair out over, they didn't do anything. Well, they tried. The Pascal Siakam stuff was real. I don't know how close it came to happening, but the Kings weren't just sitting on their hands, Drapes. They were looking at things that they thought could improve the team.
Right. And Monty and Wes and those guys, they aren't dumb. They see the limitations of this team, this roster right now. And I understand people want to give them heat for running it back or not doing nothing at the trade deadline. But you're right. they tried. But to Sham's point, you can try all you want. Eventually, you got to get it done.
Yeah.
And I think this is a huge offseason for Monte McNair and the Sacramento Kings. What Shams talked about, the assets that they have and everything. Like, there's no way that we can go into next season just running it back again. I mean, I don't think Kings fans would stand for that. And so this is a monumental offseason. And, you got to figure out the Malik Monk situation. And I heard you guys talking earlier about some of the buyout candidates, Patty Mills, my guy, Marcus Morris, just got bought out, released by San Antonio. And so why not go out there and get a guy like that? And so, no, you're right, man. This is going to be a massive offseason. And, if I'm the Kings, and I would imagine fans feel this way, you go for it now. Like not now as in right now, but this offseason, be bold. The way this franchise was transformed, Monte McNair made a bold move, getting rid of Tyrese and bringing in Domantas Sabonis. And so I would say go out there and be bold. If you can get a big name player, if you can go out there and sign somebody, whatever it may be, but you got to improve this roster for sure.
By the way, Drapes, before we let you go, and I'm thank you very much for arranging things so you could be on with us here. But remember, we talked about a lot of moves at the deadline, and you were all in on Wiggs, and I'm sure the Kings looked at that, but thank goodness, right? They didn't make that deal because poor Andrew Wiggins is on the whatever list again. He's taking a leave of absence again from the Warriors, and they don't know when he's going to be back.
Yeah, what's going on with Wiggs, man? This is crazy. Second straight year that this has happened, and so I don't know what's happening. He was playing halfway decent, something going on in his personal life or what, I don't know, but you're right. Imagine making that move, giving up some assets, and then the guy's not even playing for you. That would hurt you. And so I'm still a fan of Wiggins, the player, when he plays. Now, don't get it twisted, Whitey. I'd still love to have that guy if he was going to be out there on the floor. But man, you're right. It's that's a big piece for the Warriors that they're going to be missing.
And before we let you go, we've been talking a lot about dunkers today because it's Leap Day. Kyle Draper's Mount Dunkmore. Who do you have on there?
We're talking in-game, not just dunk contest or anything like that.
I would prefer it, but obviously you could take it any way you want to. It's your Mount Dunkmore.
I'm going to go Vince Carter, obviously. Yeah. I got to have Vince. To me, he's the greatest dunker of all time. I'm also going to go with I'm a big Sean Kemp guy.
Yes.
Yes. Remember Sean Kemp? He got some hellacious dunks. We got to go with my guy, Dominique Wilkins. Got to throw him in there as a great in-game dunker. And let me think, because I used to work in Louisville, I'm going to go with Dr. Duncanstein back in the day. I was thinking Michael Jordan, who, had some great dunks, but I'm going to go Dr. Duncanstein back in the day. Look him up, kids.
Yeah, you and I were the first three. I had the same three, and then I had the doctor, different doctor.
Oh,
baby.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yes.
All right, Drapes. We'll be talking to you tomorrow from Minneapolis. Have a good afternoon.
Yes. All right, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, Kyle. Draper with us from Minneapolis. And so Drapes agrees with you, Jay, that tomorrow is a really tall order for the Kings. Like, we didn't know that already.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at it on paper coming into the season and, coming in even 2 weeks ago, if you looked at the schedule ahead of you, like, probably not penciling a W against Denver and Minnesota.
Yeah, I might pencil it, but I'm not going to get that sharp.
Yeah, that thing is going to be a very light pencil. Let me tell you that. You shading. You're not even sketching.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We'll get back to the phones. Also, Kings aren't scaring anybody right now except their own fans. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-337-4548. That's 800-337-4548. 800-337-4548.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
It's Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you want a deal that's a slam dunk, go see the winning team at Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is your truck headquarters with all your American-made favorites, like America's best-selling F-Series, F-150s, and Super Duties, or spacious new Explorers and Expeditions, plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports, all in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford, right here in Sacramento. You can buy any new Ford with zero down on approved credit, save big with low interest finance rates, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Check out the huge selection of inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership to see their most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. They'll help you out. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 35 years and counting.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sactown Sports.
We'll get back to the Kings in just a moment. I wanted to mention something to Jay because Jay's a real baseball guy. Probably should ask Kyle about this since he's a Philadelphia guy. Jay, the Philadelphia Phillies, according to the New York Post today, Philadelphia Phillies are ending $1 hot dog night.
Man, it's a travesty.
It isn't it? Yeah.
It's a travesty.
Yeah. The team announced some of its promotions. They noted today that $1 hot dog night has been replaced by BOGO. Buy one, get one hot dog night.
And how much is that hot dog? Does it specify there, brother? Does it give you the amount?
I'll have
$13.50.
It should be bogus.
Yeah.
Hot dog night. Well, what happened was apparently last year they've had $1 hot dog night since 1997.
Shouts out to them.
Yeah. So a lot of fans are very, very upset.
Do you remember the A's hot dog night? $1 hot dog night, $1 ice cream night. Wow. When I was going through college, man, I lived on some of that.
I remember the Kings had $1 beer night when the Maloofs were here.
Really? I remember that.
It was a TNT game, and I think Tyreek Evans had like a game-winning steal or basket or something. But man, the lines were long. wow, the Lions, they had so many people. That's when the Kings weren't very good. There's a lot of people that showed up.
You know what
night.
I would probably do if I was in the position of like a player or something like that, and that we had hot dog night? I'd probably just go up there and be like, listen, man, there goes $5,000. Let everybody ball out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That type of move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's per diem. I'm spending per diem money at that point.
Apparently what happened was last year during the $1 hot dog day, hordes of fans, so lots of fans were throwing hot dogs at each other.
It was
the
elementary school.
concourses were so jammed, customers were spending multiple innings in line to get the hot dogs. Because lines were so long. You know, that stinks. If you're not really a fan, you don't care.
Sure.
But if you're a fan, I'll get a hot dog, and you're in line for like 3 innings or something.
That's
that
true.
Sucks.
That's true. Very true. Yeah. One of two things. Either the Phillies need to open up a few more concourse, you know, like some carts or something. They need to, you know, create something different. Or, you know, I hate to hear that is going away though, Whitey, because that is baseball. That's part of, you know, the major leagues, and going to a ballpark and having a hot dog night and the dollar ice cream night, and, you know, those type of those ordeals when it comes to baseball. That's what makes the game fun. And how many times do we continue to keep on saying they're in need of fans, they're in need of admission, they're in need of paid tickets, they're in need of people watching.
Yeah, you got a reason why people come to the park. That's a good thing.
Yes,
embrace that.
Keep it.
To give you an idea how upset people are, here's one blogger. It's BS. It's absolute BS. They're blaming it on clogged concourses, people throwing hot dogs. You MFers, stop taking cash. Now we're swiping transactions. It's taken 2 minutes to get every transaction through. Whose fault is this? It's your fault. It's all your fault. So they are not happy.
I wouldn't be.
Philly.
I will say this, and that fan has a point, and I understand, you know, we just went through a pandemic and germs and germophobia and all that type of stuff, but money is out the window nowadays. Like, there's been a few times I've even been at the G1C. I'm like, oh man, and I've forgotten.
Yeah,
I forgot I can't use money. Oh, okay. Let me
playoffs.
Let me go ahead and do the you know the Apple Pay or the Google Pay or the whatever. Pull out the ATM card. But yeah, definitely, that's a problem, man.
Yeah, and I felt so stupid. And I have a hot dog. It's like, oh, you can't give me money for it.
I know.
Oh yeah, sorry,
my bad. Yeah, let me dig into my pockets.
339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Where are we as Kings fans? Back and forth today. We have some optimistic Kings fans who are trying to stay patient. We have some very impatient Kings fans. Well, down the stretch we come starting tomorrow. So where are we? Where should we be?
Whitey, question though.
Where should we be? Yes.
Question. When you, and this is in all honesty here.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, you know, and I use Cinderella. I don't want to make this into a Cinderella story last year. And I think we have some fans who are, you know, they're hung up on that. I get it. There was only one ball. There was only one pair of glass slippers. There was only one pumpkin, right? And so my thing with that is there has to be some type of reality too. And like we had, Tim was one of the callers. He's like, oh, we need a championship mentality. I get it. Yeah. I mean, Jay is definitely about that. You know, I'm always thinking about winning a championship, but you also have to be honest with yourself. And I think that's part of like what Drapes is saying, I'm saying, and the other people on, you know, other side of the fence. I get you want the best, you know, you want to think the best, half glass full versus half glass empty. But I mean, that's not reality though. Like this team didn't come into this year. No one, let me say this. No one expected the Kings to win a championship this year. So if you thought that, then you're not living in reality. You're really not.
There's always a letdown after a big year. And the Kings didn't win anything last year. I know they made the playoffs, but I remember I was at a restaurant. It's 2011, early in the year, and there was some Giants fans there. This was in town, but they were, you know, you could tell because they had like jerseys on and stuff. And I overheard this woman saying, this was early in the year in 2011. The Giants had just won the World Series. And it was like, you know, winning the World Series was great, but this year, you know, it's just not the same. It's like,
what?
Yeah.
Man.
So that's kind of how we are as fans sometimes.
Yeah, but that you got to get your mind right, though. We might have to check you in. You might have to sit on the couch, talk to somebody.
TC on Sactown Sports. Thanks for hanging on, TC. What's up?
Man, it's all good, man. JJ, Whitey, what's going on?
You tell us what's going on.
Hey, listen, ain't nothing going on. I'm still mad about that game last night, man. We could have. I was so livid last night. I said, how we go up from 15 down 10 going into halftime in the same quarter? That was unacceptable. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask you. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what do you think the problem was? What happened? Is it the offense this year? Is it the defense? Is it the coaching? What happened there, and what's been happening too often this year?
It's a little bit of everything. First and foremost, I want to start with Keegan. I love Keegan, but Keegan, it's past. Everybody have to keep telling you to shoot, bro. You have to start doing that. Like how you came out gang busting yesterday in the first quarter, it has to be like that every game. We need at least 15 shots from you every night. I don't care if Fox is on. I don't care if Domas is ready to drop 50, whoever. Bro, you're the third guy. You have to shoot. This whole getting you up to it, the team, Monty, Doug, Wilcott, everybody got to keep telling you to shoot. Bro, that's unacceptable, bro. I know it's your second year, but you have to shoot the ball. Seriously, you really have to shoot the ball. Also, it goes back to what I'm saying, Whitey and JJ, what I keep talking about, the live by the three, die by the three. I'm as a Kings fan, bro, I don't like that. I really don't, because we don't have a counter. We really don't. It's like either jack up 100 threes, and if we're on, we're going to blow you out. If we're not on, we don't have a counter. Like what's going on with the pick and roll? What's going on with the backdoor cuts? What's going on getting HB down in the block like we were doing last year? He's good at that. He's probably one of the best ones beside Fox on a team that can draw fouls. Like go to HB, like situations like that's on coaching with Mike. I love Mike, but Mike, you gotta like this whole free flow offense. I'm cool with that. It's all fine and dandy, but you gotta have a counter off that. Like, okay, the three's not falling. Let's start doing backdoor cuts. Let's start pick and roll. Let's move over here. Let's find who got the hot hand. And then also when the team is up, we keep blowing leads, bro. Like we gotta we're not an established team to say, oh, we're up 12 points, so now let's take the back seat and we don't have to play anymore. Or we're so lethal at shooting threes. If we get down, we can get back in the game. This team is entitled, bro, and we're not established enough to be an entitled team. We have to buckle down, and we have to shoot for the 5th and 6th seed. If we can't get it, we got to get in and get gritty how we get it, bro, and not go in this playoffs thinking, and at the rest of the season, thinking that we're entitled and we're just going to be there, bro. We're not established like that yet, dog. Seriously.
Thank you, TC. Appreciate it. I do think Mike Brown wants the Kings to play every night, very gritty style, and they just aren't night to night. It's difficult for them to do. And as far as the blown leads, to me, at the risk of oversimplifying, to me, when you can't guard people well, they don't guard people well overall. They just don't. Other teams know that, and the Kings get a lead on other teams, and other teams are like, we're fine. Yeah. They're going to let us back in this game.
I'll say this in the words of my boy TC, check it. TC love with TC and with the check it. But I think TC, one of the things TC spoke about that I wholeheartedly, I think two things really that really touches home, and he said it in his own way, and I thought it brought a little more clarity, and that's why we love TC to be a part of the conversation. Is this first and foremost? I think we are coming down to a point, and listen, we're only 24 games left, and I get that part of the situation, but Keegan Murray is definitely have to apply itself in a different form of fashion for this team to take the next step.
And I think TC saying 15 shots a game at least.
And I think we all can agree to that. And I just as TC said very well, I think everyone down there, when I say down there on David Stern walkway, agrees. And whatever form or fashion, everyone can tell Keegan a million times, and we probably need to continue to do so. And even Mike Brown spoke about it, and we can play that next segment where he's like, look, Keegan needs to shoot more. He's got to apply himself. He is that type of talent to where we need him to be one of the best players on the floor every single night. I totally agree with what TC is saying on that, because that is becoming frustrating, right? And the second part of it, though, is I like what he did say in this form is this. I don't necessarily agree, Whitey, that this team is entitled, but I do think, and we're seeing this, the fans part of it, But I also think this team is having some bumps and learning and some growing issues, because I do think they feel what happened last year. They seen what happened and they've tasted what happened. And to take that necessary step, which we all know, to become a championship team, most people don't turn it around like that in a year or two. You're going to have to take your bumps and bruises. And it's very interesting to see how this team, Whitey, is accepting that. And I believe that's a great way TC put it is, I think that's part of the problem is, I don't think they've even learned themselves yet. And I think that's part of where we're looking for Mike Brown. Well, turn the switch, hit the switch over here, press that button, subtract this guy, add that guy. I think this team is still learning who they really are. Mm-hmm. I think they're still trying to put their next foot forward. And, we said this the last couple of times, and I'll end the soliloquy like this. This team is still in their Bambi stages. This is still in their infancy stages.
You said you didn't want to go Cinderella. Now You're going Bambi.
Yeah, absolutely, baby. I'm a Disney character around here. Sign me up, Disney. But that's my thing, Whitey, is I don't think not only this team, and of course we see it from the fans, and that's why some of this is frustrating for fans. And I get it. I understand that. But we all, it's like this is going to progress. I believe the team has to understand that too.
Yeah. They just have to start playing better. Or
That's simple.
They'll be sinking like the Little Mermaid in the West. By the way, every time TC calls, I think we got to call it. It's time for Check It with TC.
Yeah, check it, man. Yeah. Check it.
And now here's TC with Check It. Is there something from last season that Kings can go back to doing? Well, one thing when we come right back, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. It's a Drive Guys with a little Disney theme today on Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Zone 1 report.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
The first time I tried to quit vaping, I told myself that it was like a mountain that I had to climb over. And once I got to the other side, it would be clear. But I couldn't make it over. What really got me to quit was my little sister. I saw her vaping. So I was back in the mountain, but this time she was up there with me. It's weird what you can do for others that you won't do for yourself.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
If your Medi-Cal is ending, Cover California is here to help. Cover California is a service from the state that helps you get affordable health insurance. In many cases, at no cost to you, just like with Medi-Cal. We have quality health plans and will help you every step of the way to get the one that works for you and your family. So if you're no longer eligible for Medi-Cal, check out Cover California. We'll keep you covered. Learn more at coveredca.com.
Ad paid for by America First Tax Group. Attention. If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-257-0663 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-257-0663. That's 800-257-0663. Again, 800-257-0663.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Well, Alibaba had them 40 thieves. Scheherazade had 1,000 tales. Master, you in luck, 'cause up your sleeves, you got a brand of magic never fails.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
The Drive Guys, it's Jay and Whitey today. Drapes in Minneapolis. He'll be back with us tomorrow. We take you up to UC Davis basketball, 5:45. The Aggies taking on Hawaii. So if you want to hear some UC Davis basketball, we have that coming up for you. There's been a lot of talk here. I think TC might have mentioned it. Some people in the chat are talking about Keegan needs to be more aggressive. TC mentioned 15 shots a game. Here's Mike Brown on how aggressive he'd like to see Keegan become offensively.
Yeah, I've had, and I will continue to have conversations with Keegan. We want Keegan to be aggressive because we feel like his development is necessary for us to continue our climb as a team. And so not just because of tonight, but going forward, I'm always going to tell him, hey, be aggressive. Just because this guy's in the game or that guy's in the game, you go ahead and you take the lead. If you see any opportunity to take advantage of the defense or your defender, we're all for it.
I think Keegan's had a pretty good year, but it's really interesting when you hear Mike Brown talk here. It's crystal clear that the Kings' long-term plan with this group is that Keegan becomes part of their big three. They need him. That's why we want to be aggressive. So they're being patient with him, as patient as they can be, but they need him and Fox and Sabonis. You know how much they ask of Fox and Sabonis. Those guys put up a triple-double or something, and after the game, Coach Brown will say, the
NFL's leading.
That's what we need him to do. And I think they realize it's a little early for that with Keegan, but they'll probably get to a point where when Keegan will score 30 and they go, that's what we need from him. That's what they hope to get from him next year, year after that, and beyond. They rely on him that much, I think.
Oh yeah, I think it's the necessary steps for this team to be better than where they're trying to go.
They need him to be a borderline, an all-star, superstar caliber type player.
I mean, in the times that we're living in, when it comes to the NBA, you almost need three guys to win a championship. And if not, your number one and your number two have to be so good that they're top 15, top 20 flight type guys, and you have to have a very strong team, which we've seen with Denver. I mean, you arguably have the best player in the league when it comes to Jokic, and he covers up a lot of different things. But we also seen Denver Nuggets, as you guys alluded to, talking to, their play-by-play guys and analysts over the last, couple of weeks or whatever that the Kings have played them. They've added the KCPs, the Bruce Browns, those type of guys, the Aaron Gordons, MPJ, Michael Porter Jr. is playing very well, at a high level the last few years now that he's been just about healthy. He's missed a game or two. But if you don't have a Jokic, which I don't think, the Kings have the top player in the NBA, arguably, but I do think they have two top flight guys. You need that third person to really press the buttons. And I think that's like the MPJ or the KCPs, that type of thing.
Yeah. Don't you think that Denver's big three is Jokic and Jamal Murray and probably Michael Porter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so they got a guy like Aaron Gordon, and it's and you look at the Kings roster, I think it's important to look at a team like Denver. They won the championship. They got a guy like Aaron Gordon who's like their fourth guy.
Yeah.
He's a really good player.
Yes, he is.
High lottery pick.
Very much so.
Very talented player.
Yeah.
So that's why it's tough for the Kings to compete on nights like last night, and that's why it's so important for them to get Keegan to a point where he's one of those guys. As far as things that the Kings did last year that maybe are there things they can go back to? I mentioned this earlier. This is a little wonky, but this is from The Ringer. The Kings lead the NBA in handoff frequency. It's like Domas on top, and here comes Kevin Huerter. You got the hand, not always a dribble handoff, but sometimes a dribble handoff. So they lead the league in handoff frequency. Last year, they were top 10 scorer on handoffs in the NBA. This year, they're bottom 10. So, just old dribble handoff. And a lot of that, I think, when you picture it in your mind's eye, it's like, oh, yeah, I think a lot of that is because, Huerter just has not been as good this year shooting the ball off those handoffs. But there's something, again, it's like, what happened? Last year, top 10. This year, bottom 10.
Yeah.
And then another thing is, and I know we talk about this, but the free throw shooting, last year, their free throws per field goal attempt, they were 7th in that ratio. This year, they're 28th. So I'm not talking about making free throws. I'm talking about getting to the line. Free throws relative to field goal attempts last year, 7th best. This year, 28th. Their attempt rate last year, they were 9th. This year, they're 24th. And that's on top of the fact that they can't make a stinking free throw. Yeah, maybe it's because guys, I can't make a free throw. You get shy. You don't want to get fouled. You don't want to go to the line and miss a free throw. But you're looking at why isn't the offense as good? Well, there you go. Those are two huge reasons right there.
Yeah, the dribble handoff for me is definitely something that's telling. And this is where I can attest to when you have fans who are screaming about the Mike Brown situation. And listen,
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that you have to come to, fruition and understand that's fair, man. I understand when you are calling those type of, situations and some of those adjustments into, question. And so, like, I think, Whitey, there's not there's not a very clear answer, right? And I think most of the time when there are frustrating and infuriating situations, there's really not one thing that you can always pinpoint or one thing you can go to. It's always a few things. There's always a handful of things. And you try to take care of as many as possible and you move forward. And so I understand the frustration from Kings fans, definitely do. I think it's blared through, these airwaves enough here on this show, for me at least, that I think we've voiced our frustrations in many different ways. But I also think there are some things that the team does do well. And I also think that the fact that they're in this position and in this situation, for me, listen, you can call it what you want to call it. I know people can jump to a conclusion and people can jump on me. It's like, well, listen, Jay, I'm not happy just to be here. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying it is a fun ride. It is cool to be in the, to be in the 5th spot one night, jump back to the 8th spot, jump back up to the 6th spot, stay in the 6th spot 2 nights, and then jump back to the 7th. Like, I'm good with that right now because I came into this season with the understanding this is not a championship team. Right. I was honest with myself. I understood the miracle in, Sacramento last year. I got it. But there's no way, no form, no shape, no how that I thought this team was vying for a championship. But I do also understand, listen, when you lose to Charlotte Hornets at home, you can be frustrated.
Yeah.
But guess what? 2 nights later, it wasn't 2 nights later, but I'm just saying they go into Minnesota and you have the high of highs and get the W over the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. And so I get the roller coaster ride, but I think just what you said is this. One thing about a roller coaster, up, down, side to side, spin, turn, topsy-turvy, whatever you want to call it, you come right back to the same spot. And I think that same spot is going to be in the postseason.
I think one of it might have been Luke Walton's next to last year. Was his last year the bubble year or the next to last year? And I remember like late in the year the Kings rallied, and of course then everything went sideways with they had to stop playing and go into the bubble. But I remember the Kings like, they're 3 games out of the 10th. It's like that was, hey, they're close to being a factor in the play-in. And compared to that, yeah, this is it's a lot more fun. Just so far, it hasn't felt like quite as much fun as last year.
I agree. Agreed.
Yeah. But big picture, it's like, this is great. These games matter. Is it time for a hard reset on Kings expectations? Next, with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Tennis event of the year, the Netflix Slam on March 3rd at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Join 22-time Grand Slam champion and tennis legend Rafael Nadal as he takes on world number 2, Carlos Alcaraz, and witness a tennis showdown like never before. This live Netflix sports event promises unparalleled tennis action, so don't miss the thrill. Mark your calendars for March 3rd, 12:30 p.m. Pacific. It's Game, Set, Match on Netflix.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now, I took the half-hour drive to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton, and I came home with the finest car I've ever owned. I'm rocking that brand new EQS SUV they outfitted me with, and it's stylish and so comfortable. I love Mercedes cars. Also, Mercedes builds amazing commercial vehicles. Now, if you own a business, Mercedes builds commercial vans capable of any job. And with special interest rates as low as 4.9% on new Sprinter vans, plus the available tax breaks on Sprinter vans for commercial use, choosing a Mercedes van is a smart move. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a huge full-service commercial fleet center. Go see my good friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Just a half-hour drive down I-5 from Sac, and it's online all the time at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown. Giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Can't blame Kings fans for getting a little anxious here as you glance at the NBA Western Conference standings. Last night's loss to Denver. Not unexpected, right? But drops the Kings to 33-25. So currently the Kings are 8th in the West. 8.5 games behind first place Minnesota. 8, okay. Half a game out of 7th, all right. Just a game out of 5th and just a game out of 6 as well. So, all right. So it's reasonable to think they play better, they win some games, they're out of the play-in. However, you are now just 2 games ahead of the 9th place Lakers, who had a big comeback in the fourth quarter last night, and you're just 2.5 ahead of the 10th place Warriors. And by the way, the Warriors they were up on the Knicks tonight 14-0. I don't know where that game is now. And of course, the big difference here, if you're 7th or 8th in play-in, you get 2 chances to emerge from the play-in. If you're 9th or 10th, you got to win 2 games to get out of the play-in. So yeah, it gets a little dicier and a little more tense here as we look at where the Kings are and how much you can fall. They've lost 2 in a row in the West. You lose a couple games in a row and you start sinking. Speaking of the Lakers, LeBron is closing in now on 40,000 career points. He's he's 40 away from 40,000, and he averages 20 points a game. So you do the math. He probably will get there before the Lakers play the Kings. That'd be the Lakers' 4th game from here. And somebody on the chat said, boy, wouldn't it be great, kind of fitting, if LeBron has scored his first NBA points against the Kings, if he scored 40,000 against the Kings. I'm not a big fan of that, but I understand where you're going. And I mentioned to Jay that I have, as a lot of people in the area have, tickets from that first game, LeBron's first game.
Big money.
Yeah, well, I just checked it on eBay. You want to know what these are going for, Jay?
I want to know what yours are getting ready to go for.
I don't know.
No, we speak this. Listen, one thing we're going to do is we continue to speak this into fruition for the Kings of, we're manifesting this. We're going to manifest your ticket price.
LeBron James, this is eBay. LeBron James, first ever NBA game, ticket stub and pin. And it's not graded. And I also have a program. I'm not sure how good this ticket is. That is what condition it's in. $8,500 or best offer.
Oh, yeah, man. One of them tickets will be going.
LeBron James, rookie card, NBA debut, first game, 2003, Cavaliers versus Kings. Ticket stub, PSA 4, $25,000.
Yeah, go ahead and get that thing graded, Whitey, and go ahead and slip it on out. Not to mention, you have a 3-piece.
LeBron James, NBA debut, full ticket versus Kings, 10/29/2003. PSA 7, population 1, $37,999.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Go ahead and go get your Model Y Tesla there, brother. It's all good. Off of one ticket there. Like, seriously, what is the Gleason household waiting on?
Well, that's what people are asking for.
I mean,
doesn't mean they'll get it.
Well,
I could ask for $1 million.
Sure.
Doesn't mean I'll get it.
I don't mean you can't undercut them. Price is right, they butt. Jump right up under there, Whitey. Hey, listen, you want 25K? I want 24,999.
Oh, I would definitely do that.
Absolutely. Okay, what is the price? If someone just walked up to you and said, name your price, what are you asking?
No.
Now that you've done your little research right there.
Given that I know that they could be really valuable, I don't think I'd even think about selling them unless I had them looked at, because
you need to grade it.
I wouldn't want someone coming in and going, I'll give you, here's $10,000. Like, yeah. And then they go out and I find out they sell it for you.
See, that's not what 50. I asked you, Whitey. Listen,
I don't have an answer. And I'm telling you why I don't have a figure.
That's not, you're telling me. So right now, if you're just like, 10 million bucks.
50.
Okay.
$50,000.
There's got to be a value to something you're not turning down, right? If somebody walked in there and said, let me give you $1 million, you're turning that down?
No, that would be okay.
Okay. So what's the figure?
50.
50K?
50,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Why, are you interested?
I might know a few people. I'm the person on record say I don't care about the nostalgia situation. I'm not a big car guy. I'm not a going berserk over a piece of cardboard or like I get it. I understand that because I'm a shoe guy. I like music. There's certain things that people could attack me for. So let me say this: I'm not attacking that. It just doesn't float my my boat. But
we saved the tickets because I thought they might be worth something, but I really didn't know that first game tickets are that big a thing. And I was checking something. Somehow I stumbled upon Michael Jordan first game tickets. And I was like, what? They're worth that much? And that's why I even checked what the LeBron tickets were for in the first place. I was
what it's called?
Very surprised.
It's called do your research, get it graded. And if it comes back something where you're like, all right, I think I can, like you said, and that's why I asked you, what's the value right now? Without going into it, without, doing your research, without really knowing what it could be graded, how, what is the value right now? Somebody just said, let me just give it to you right now. Don't do all of that. You say 50.
50, but there's an asterisk because
Oh, here we
remember,
go.
no,
All
here's
right,
the
we got
thing.
the pandemic championship.
I did not actually go to the game.
Doesn't matter.
So I have to make sure that Sheena would and I
So-
think she'd do 50. But you know what? They could argue that you didn't even go to the game. That's not even your ticket.
What about the children though? Who's controlling the children's tickets?
You know, they don't live there anymore.
Come
so
on,
I
now.
think I hope you enjoyed the game.
It sounds like you might need a little representation. You might need
We might be able to work them in for peace.
Yeah, of course.
That's only fair.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's say this. What if someone comes in at 45 right now? Calls in right now and say, you know what?
Can't do it.
Oh.
Can't do it.
So it's 50. 50 or nothing.
I think these tickets they're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like your style.
Yeah. I had them tucked away for quite a while.
Program. How about the program? Where are we valuing that right now?
I
in the
have no
Gleason
idea.
household?
Honestly, I have no idea. I just think as part of the package, maybe it ups the value a little or makes it a little more desirable, but I really don't have any idea what it's worth. Couldn't tell you. Might be worthless, might be
Sure.
It's $100. I don't know.
It's always worth what a person will pay you. That's what I've
There
learned.
you go. You're right. On the chat, Compio says the Kings will finish a strong 6 seed. Manny Too Legit. Why didn't JJ? Do you guys think Fox will be playing tomorrow?
Coin flip. Sounds like he may. We thought that yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of.
hard to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jay may have examined him. I haven't, but if he tried to go yesterday and they thought he was going to play and he's had an extra day off and he didn't play yesterday, I'd be surprised if he doesn't play. I mean, if he doesn't play tomorrow, then you got to wonder, well, wait, is there something else going on in there? But I think he'll play tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, we don't know. We're just guessing. Let's make sure we put that in there.
Yeah. Dwayne Baker, I'm hoping that the month of March will get them rolling towards the playoffs and go on a run. They can do it. It's up to them. Do you think, Jay, we need a hard reset on Kings expectations here as we head down the home stretch?
I think some. I think, a lot of people are being honest with themselves. But, it's hard for, and someone said this, and let me make sure I get the proper words and give them because we got so many people weighing in. But let me try to find that here. Someone from the 916. As a Kings fans listener, you guys spend a lot of time telling us how we are feeling about the team and how it's going. Negativity breeds negativity. You're letting these pessimists get their 15 minutes in the spotlight. Be positive. Stop focusing on the negative fan takes. And I think I can understand, and I think that's why this is so, it's almost infuriating for some, but then you have some who are like, oh, I'm along for the ride. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's just so much of a split down the middle. It's a fence that you can hop back and forth on. You have, fans like that. And then you have some fans who, we've heard a couple times like, look, give us a little bit of time. Mike Brown is fairly new here. He's only been in there for a year and almost 2 years, a year and a half, a year and 3/4 quarters, whatever you want to call it. But it's just one of those things where I think, Whitey, every single day breeds something brand new. A loss breeds something new. A win breeds something new. And you see all these different type of reactions from every single person that we continue to get, on a daily basis. And I just continue to keep on saying, it's just great to be in this. It's great to be, a part of this. But I definitely understand, like, look, I'm tired of the Detroit Pistons losses too. I'm tired of the Charlotte Hornets situations. And so I appreciate that side of what the Kings are saying, fans are saying, because they have some good quality reason to say that.
I think there's one group that really needs to reset expectations. Tell you who that is, and we'll see if you fall in that group when we come back. Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
37,000, 25, 1. These are the 3 numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need to make the right business decisions instantly. 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down expenses. 1. Because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need to grow, all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance absolutely free at netsuite.com/company. That's netsuite.com/company to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/company.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Is it time for a hard reset on King fan expectations? I think it depends on what your expectations are. Drive Guys here. Drapes was with us earlier. We had some issues. We talked to him on the phone, and then he'll be back with us tomorrow from the arena. So we'll have him on for the whole show tomorrow, though that'll be a truncated show because we'll have, of course, the Kings and the Timberwolves. Before the season started, Jay, I was saying, I think I was still on with Chris at the time, Whitey and Watkins. And I said, my prediction is the Kings are going to end up 5th. And I think I had them winning in the first round, but I said, if you make the playoffs this year, that is a success. Rubber stamp it. Boom. Hopefully you can do more. But if you get to the playoffs again this year,
not the play-in.
Right. Play-in is not the playoffs. But if you get to the playoffs 2 years in a row in the playoffs, that's only happened like 7 times in Kings history. Boom. That's a success. So I feel like right now, my expectations have been pretty much in line with reality. I think the people that thought, we've talked about this, bless you, you can expect whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Enjoy. But 3rd last year, all that means this year they'll compete for the conference title. They should certainly be in the conference finals, and they should be a championship contender. I think if that's what you were expecting this year, I think for your own sake, you need a hard reset on your expectations.
Which, as I said, they need to sit down and, speak about it. And that's cool because we all need to get it off our chest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's cool. You're in the King's kingdom and your glasses are purple.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely understand that. I'm with you. I thought if they made the playoffs and I'm even on the record as saying if they made the playoffs and they go to another game 7 in the first series and they lose, depending on who they play, then it's a success because I think there wouldn't be too much difference between going to a second series and losing, battle tested.
Yeah.
Tried. Tribulations, those type of things need to happen for this team to get to where, the end all be all goal, which is the championship. And the other thing for me too, my expectations is I thought, and coming into the season, I truly thought they could have manipulated the roster a little more. And I was expecting that, and it didn't happen. And then I kind of expected it to happen at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And nothing really happened at the trade deadline.
Yes.
In the whole NBA. And so I think part of my expectations is probably going to happen. I think they will make the playoffs. The second part of it, and this is frustrating for me and a lot of other people, it just seems like the window is open a little bit. And not so much as to win a championship.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Not to win a championship, but to kind of
be relevant.
Yes. And take at least look like you're trying to take the next step. And I think twiddling, the Kings kind of twiddled their thumbs a little bit. And I think that's playing a part for a lot of other fans, people who are calling out for a different look, a different change for this team.
You mentioned somebody I think you said it was on the text line that said, don't give in to the negativity.
Yeah.
Which is, great. It's good to be positive. Anybody, you mentioned you felt this way, I felt this way. Anybody that looked at the trade deadline and felt disappointed that nothing happened, I mean, I understand that 100%. How many times I was looking through it today, going back, some of the reports, November, December, January, and all the reports were that Monty says the Kings are going to be very active. So we had high hopes. And
Gotta believe it.
Looks like they did try to do something really big, and it didn't work out. But I can understand anyone that feels like, wow, okay, the offseason, they didn't do much. They kind of brought it back. But then we thought deadline, they're going to do something. They didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes in baseball, I know teams battle and then they expect they're going to get us some help at the deadline. Then it doesn't happen. Sometimes you can see a team like they don't play well. I'm not suggesting that's what's happened with the Kings. I'm saying it's understandable. And it's fair.
And Whitey, I think that's part of my frustration is I thought the West to, solidify where the Kings probably want to go, I thought would take another, as I could continue to keep on saying, a shot in the arm. They needed a little spark. And I even used the Denver game the Miami game as kind of an example of this is kind of a game that needed someone else that the Kings don't have, to
I agree. I felt the exact same way.
Yeah, like, to bring something different to the game. And so that's where, and you talk about, your tempering expectations and where I thought was going, where this team was going. That for me is probably the most frustrating part about this team is you could see this team was flawed. We can see this team is flawed. If we're using present and past tense, this team is not championship material.
Mike Brown was telling us, or Monty or somebody repeatedly, this team is not good enough as currently constituted.
Yes, and someone in the 925, shouts out to the East Bay, they tried with the question mark. It's result-based business, both for the players and the front office. We tried isn't good enough. And listen.
Do or do not, there is no try.
I get it. That fan, I have nothing to say towards that fan when they bring that argument to the table.
Agreed.
Because I agree.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Here's my fear. I mentioned this before. You remember the Giants this year, they got off to a pretty good start.
Yeah,
they were looking good. Trade deadline approached. Are the Giants going to do anything? They didn't.
They didn't.
Part of the calculation was we're good enough. We don't have to. And then after the deadline, right? They were terrible. They stunk. Right. I hope that doesn't happen with this basketball team. Now, I don't think Monty in the front office looked at this team and said, we're good. I think it's more a matter of the things that we could do here are not worth doing.
Yes.
But still the calculation is we'll be okay without doing anything. And we'll see. I had the same thought you did, especially during the Miami game. And after the Miami game, I was like, wow, this is an example of how you really needed to do something at the deadline.
You needed, that extra piece or two, someone, the microwavable, bring it to the table quick, fast, in a hurry. And
they had that guy, DeLon Wright, that I was hoping the Kings would trade for.
Yes.
And I think he had 13 points.
Yep.
The Heat did something. As you said, not a lot happened, but there's a lot of teams that did little things here and there. Look at the Sun, Royce O'Neal picking up here, there, and the Kings didn't get anybody.
Yeah.
Couldn't they have gotten somebody?
Yes, I agree. I mean, I think that's part of my expectation. My disagreement with the expectations is I expected, as you said, to get anything, anyone, anybody, any other player, any form of excitement brought to this team. But the reverse of that is this. With us knowing that didn't happen, I think that's where you say, we need to change the expectations? I think knowing that didn't happen immediately changed my expectations, Whitey. It really did. It was like, you know what? They didn't get better. They're riding this out, which I felt they did the same thing in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So I figured they would be about the same that we seen last year. And again, not taking into consideration what happened around you, because all you can do is control what you do. I think the Kings are about the same. They're right at the same point.
Let me ask people and ask you, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You want to give us a call, shoot us a text on the chat right now. And maybe you've responded to this question before, but as we talk about expectations being reset potentially, What to you right now would constitute a successful season for the Kings? They get in the play-in, is that successful? Playoff successful? Gotta do better than last year. Maybe it's a number of wins. Maybe it's a finish. If they finish 5th or better, what to you would constitute a successful season? I know it's hard to say because the proof's in the pudding. It always depends on how you get there. If you say, if they make the playoffs, that'd be great. And then, they have a 3-0 lead and they blow it in the first round or something. Well, that's not really what I meant. But what to you would constitute, Jay, a successful season? To me, it's still, as I've said all year, if you get a Kings team back to the playoffs, win or lose, to me, boom, I'm rubber stamping that. That's a successful season.
Agreed. With the knowledge of, just as that fan we just read from the 925, something has to change next season. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I'm with you. Give me a playoff run. If they lose in the first series, no problem, no harm, no foul. They learn. Next year, expectations move a little bit further.
Sure. Let's talk to Akash here on Sactown Sports. Hey, Akash, thanks for hanging on. What's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I just wanted to call my shot here today. Leap year day, February 29th. I'm just calling my shot right now. I think the Kings are going to be stuck in the play-in, and I don't think they're going to make it out of the play-in. If they face the Warriors or the Lakers, those legacy franchises of the NBA, in a one-game scenario, I just do not see them beating either of those two teams. And I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that.
Well, that's not a very pleasant thought, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So right now, those teams are behind you. So if you lose one game if you're 9th or 10th, which right now the Kings aren't, but then you're out. Yeah, it would be tough. I do think that they could beat the Warriors in a game. They could beat either one. Winning 2 of those would be tough. I think they could do it, but I just think the Warriors Kings, if it's in a play-in, can you imagine how nuts that would be?
Ooh-wee. I'm telling you, sign me up.
Yeah.
But Whitey, that's the cold part about this is we're complaining as, we want the Kings to be in the 4th spot or the 3rd spot, but man, sign me up for that though. I'm, right now, if you're playing Dallas, I'll take that. And then you have to play the winner of Golden State, LA. I'll take that too.
Akash, I think I'm with you. I think they're a play-in team. I think if they're 7th or 8th, I like their chance to get out of that. If they're 9th or 10th, that's going to be a tough road. On a more positive note, Mike Brown mentioned a few bright spots last night. Let's see if we can find any of those when we come right back. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Sacramento County Voter Registration and Elections.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. A cool night with occasional showers and a gusty breeze. During the day tomorrow, we'll see occasional showers. The winds will get very gusty in the afternoon, and we'll continue to see on-again, off-again showers into Saturday. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA3 app.
The next election is March 5th. Vote centers open February 24th. Remember to vote early and avoid the lines. Learn more at elections.saccounty.gov or call toll-free 762-8019. Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
There are any number of reasons you might consider selling your home.
To move closer to family, live within a smaller budget, or just wanting a change of scenery. Whatever your reasons, having to figure out all the various housing market trends in your area may not be what you signed up for. That's where an agent who is a realtor comes in. Realtors have the expertise to help you find the right price and navigate the process to sell your home in a way that's right for you. That's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
I just can't control my feet.
Coming to the venue at Thunder Valley, March 30th. World One presents The Jacksons with Sister Sledge. Tickets available now at the Thunder Valley box office, Ticketmaster.com, and WorldOnePresents.com.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Omega Feimasu. It means it's raining today. You like the rain, Jay, or you had enough of the rain?
I'm good with the rain, brother. I like cold. I like the cold. I like putting on the hoodie, the sweatsuit, the jacket. I'm good with that.
I understand it's rough for people that I know we have people listening and on the chat who, they work for like power companies, so they're on alert and they gotta,
yeah, please be safe, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And people, there's trees falling. I know that's dangerous, but the news sometimes, and I'm talking about everybody on the news, it's like it rains a little bit of breaking news. I'm here in the street and it's raining, and look, there's a puddle.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, we're living in the times where everything is news. You listen, you put on a matching outfit, I'm posting it.
Yeah,
and people do it all the time. Like you said, oh, it's raining.
Yeah,
man, I drug my my red wagon through the puddle, and now I got to post. Yeah,
let's go out to Jim. Yes, as you can see, I'm in a car and my windshield wipers are on because it's raining. I know. So anyway, what really drives me crazy now is when the weather forecasters, and they say, and I don't know anybody in town specifically who does this, but I've heard weathercasters, and they go, well, tomorrow will be nice, but it might start to rain around 2:30. So if you're picking up the kids or you're getting lunch, it's like I don't need you to tell me if it rains at 2:30 and I'm picking up the kids. Well, you might want to take an umbrella. Just tell me what the weather's going to be. I can figure out the rest myself. If you've got, soccer practice or something.
You don't want the instructions?
I don't need any of that.
They're just trying to throw a helping hand out there,
Whitey.
to
make it sound like personal or something.
Oh, you cold blood, man. I'm getting ready to round up all the meteorologists in Sacramento and surrounding areas and tell them you're not a fan.
I don't understand that trend. Tell me what the weather's going to be and when it's going to be that way, and I'll figure out the rest myself, like when to go to lunch or whatever. Yeah, I'll figure that out on my own. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We've been talking about the Kings a lot today. Do we need to do a reset on expectations down the stretch? Depends what your expectations were, right? Let's see what Jeff has to say on Sactown Sports. Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Not bad, not much, buddy. Enjoy your guys' afternoon show on the way home.
Thank you.
My input on this is, yes, our expectations should be tempered, because even back in the day with the old Kings, it took about 4 or 5 years before they actually had all the pieces in place to compete, even though we got cheated out of a championship. But aside from that, with this new bargaining deal that we have with the new collective agreement, these GMs are all trying to figure out how to pieces together to be effective in the future, because you don't want to put all your chips down and have to pay for it for the next 5 or 6 years.
That's a great point. Jeff, can I ask you, is it raining right now where you are?
Yeah, I got a forecast that I should expect rain about 1:30. So
all right, thank you. Thank you for that update, Jeff. He's right. The new CBA has a big impact on how teams are maneuvering here, given the new tax apron and all that stuff. And the Kings, as far as we know, they're clear of all that, but it does raise the question of what you do with Malik Monk, which is going to be a big question this offseason.
I'll tell you what you do. You sign him.
Yeah, except, Jay, you're limited as to how much you can offer.
Agreed.
So if someone else, and it depends on how many teams have cap space, but if someone else says, Malik, we'll give you more money than the Kings and we'll start you, the Kings can't say, all right, well, we'll top that offer. They're like, that's the most we can do. Hopefully it won't come to that.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think you offer them every single penny that you possibly can.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, and if you get outbid, then that's part of the game. It's part of this business. That's part of what happens, when we're talking about free agency and restricted free agency and everything else, like you said, the cap. But at this point in time, I mean, and I hope it has been done. If I'm Monty and I'm Malik's agent, which escapes me right now, I can't remember who his agency is. Listen, I would already have his offer.
Mm-hmm.
His offer is this down to the penny. And unfortunately, because of, the contract we signed 2 years ago, whatever, this is what I can offer you, but this is what you deserve.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm pretty confident they know what the Kings can offer, what the Kings will offer. It's just a matter of how interested other teams are. By the way, his Kyle Ledbetter is his agent.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's Malik Monk's agent.
Kyle came in here with like the strongest onions in America.
Really?
Kyle stepped in here. I mean, just, love Kyle, man.
Just eating raw onions?
I mean, I don't even know. As soon as I come from,
gave me the thumbs up on that.
I come from out of the main studio talking to you during the break, and then I come in here, and all of a sudden I just felt like I was in Gilroy, like I just got hit, smacked straight in the mouth, like I'm going to the Gilroy outlets. Do you know what I mean? Just straight onions to the neck and garlic to the neck. I didn't know what was going on, man.
I'm glad to hear Jeff mention the Kings, the Weber Kings, the process they went through. He's at least the second, maybe the third person that's mentioned that today, a third fan. And I think that's great that fans remember that the Kings in 1999, during the lockout year, they really shocked the basketball world, similar to what the Kings did last year in some ways. And they played the Jazz in the first round. They almost beat the Jazz. They got knocked out in the first round. The next year, the expectations were very high like they are this year. Kings won, not 50, they won 44 out in the first round, although it was a very exciting series. And then the year after that, 2001, they actually won a playoff series before they lost to the Lakers again. Then after that, they were on their way to the conference finals. So that's, 4 years it took. And it wasn't a linear progression. So I think it's great that fans keep that in mind here. But the Kings, unless they have a great, if they have a great finish here and finish well beyond our expectations, that would reset things. But other than that, they're really going to have to do some things this offseason. Yeah. Fans around here are not going to tolerate. Fans are patient, but they won't tolerate, like, if you finish like, we got knocked down the first round. What are you doing? Nothing.
Oh, no.
That's not
I mean, Jay is going to not be tolerant. I mean, I'm going to hit the roof.
Yeah.
I'd be over here on every show. Let me be a guest on every show because I have something to say. Absolutely. If they don't turn something around, this offseason, then by all means, all hands on deck, every Kings fan. I'm with a lot of people right now. They should have did something, but if they don't do it, then there's a big problem.
Yes, there would be.
We should be screaming.
I'm sure they're very well aware of
yes.
that. What do you think, by the way, of the
Let me say
the unhappiness, the dissatisfaction with Mike Brown? What's your opinion on that?
I don't know where that's coming from. And I think it's just kind of what we talked about, Whitey. Sometimes when you're losing and you're up and down and it's not, what you really thought, we start to look outside of the building and inside the building. You're looking at all different avenues. And I think Coach Brown is just catching some of the heat. And albeit, I can understand where some fans are asking about the moves and the adjustments. And that comes from the fact that Coach Brown and some of his staff, of what they're saying, especially some of the players too, when you talk about effort and when you talk about intensity, when you talk about defense needs to be better. I think, the first thing to do, and, again, I always say it, listen, if you want to be the head honcho and be in those positions, you have to take some of that, what comes with it. Right. And so I think when you take a loss and you don't see adjustment made, first thing you do is call out Coach Brown, and we don't know everything because maybe he did try to make adjustment and the team didn't execute it. But I think it is fair to question some things that we've seen over the, throughout this season. But I can't fathom the fact that, anyone could say he needs to be gone.
Yeah, that's
not it.
You wonder sometimes if people are just, trolling. But it is true. Fans of any team, when a team appears to be underperforming, it's fair to question the manager, the coach. And then when you have the players and the coach saying we have to give more effort, a team that's not giving effort, that's like, well, that's on the coach, isn't it? Well, I think in most cases it is, but that's why we were saying yesterday with this team, it's not so much not giving effort. It's just they're not focused. They're not as gritty. It's not like they're not trying. They're just learning to try harder.
Yes. And know when to apply the intensity.
Yeah. And, last year, everything Mike Brown did was perfect. And then maybe, I think Kyle alluded to this earlier. This year, that's been through, he's done it for a year, and the players are like, all right, yeah, we've heard all that. And he's trying to get them to play better defense. And, early in this season, we heard Davion and we heard Kevin Huerter saying, they're asking us to do so much defensively. It's harder to keep up offensively. So, we heard some complaints from the players. So,
but you know what? Why do you know what?
He's still the best guy for this job, and the Kings are still lucky to have him.
So far, yeah, absolutely. Until something else different. But you know what that told me, and I didn't press an envelope on this too much. That just lets me know, and it's no disrespect to Kevin Huerter, it's no disrespect to Davion Mitchell, because I think Davion has another level he just hasn't been able to grasp. And maybe it's just, I don't know the reason why, confidence or whatever you want to call it. But I will say this, that lets me know that maybe the tools in the toolbox can't do it. They just can't get the job done.
I agree. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thanks for all your participation. Appreciate it very much. Stick around for UC Davis basketball against Hawaii. We're back with Drapes from Minneapolis tomorrow. UC Davis basketball next right here on Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys live Monday through Friday from 6 to